I knew she would. She's so sweet.
I mean, after all, she does love you the most.
I know, because I love her the most. Don't tell my dogs that. They'd be pretty jealous.
I figured, like, your brothers would be jealous.
Well.
But we understand.
They're used to not getting things I get. So it's okay. So Ben, remember how we told you weren't going to do anything stupid after you left last week?
You did something stupid, huh?
He knew better.
Can't say I'm shocked.
I mean, it happened so quickly. We didn't, it wasn't planned. It makes it better.
Well, Amanda, would you like to just go ahead and give the recap then?
Let's go this recap.
I think we started last week with I think we started on the Minotaur, yeah, but I think we started with the other team, didn't we? With the ghouls.
Simultaneous.
The ghoul thingies. And they demolished them pretty quickly, and Cognar got a fancy new tool. I think he was iffy on telling us about for a while. But, fancy new tool after killing them. And then we were in the Minotaurs while they were doing that. And we're like, hey, summoning circle, this sounds like a lot of fun, let's do it. And then, in the process...
They were like, wait, that's a possession circle, never mind.
Yeah, but Gurvinder decided to leave that part out for Byushi because he said in Draconic. So only... Goodness, what game I am. Okay, Simos. I'm like, wait, whose names? So only Simos could understand. So, Byushi's like, I don't know what's happening, but it looks like we're killing these guys now. So we kill everyone and learn that the other half of the party is coming around, and they found the other half of the Minotaurs, and then we all found the boss together, which was fun because he was a big old joy to kill.
See, I remember there was like a big skeleton.
Yeah, that was like the last. We're not there yet. Slow down.
So there was a boss fight and I missed it?
No, the big Minotaur. Remember? Well, you were in the other room. You never actually went up to him.
We didn't make
he was
it
dead before you. Yeah.
Okay.
And to be fair, the big Minotaur didn't last very long. He got taken out before he could make any successful attacks.
He was big and scary, so it basically counted. Intimidation rolls, it worked. But yeah, we killed him, and so then we're like, hey, this whole area is cleared out, and look, there's these weird smoky rooms, and so.
I remember you like got thrown through there at one point.
Yeah, I definitely got knocked into another dimension by a Minotaur. It was very peaceful and happy, and I never got to go back there like Corneo said we would. Cool. But then, yeah, there was that big old orc, like a skeletal orc, big thing on the wall.
Just a giant skeleton.
And Simos, as a crocagator, decided to munch down on it, so it's no longer a problem. I mean, it's definitely in bones now.
Look, that's good.
Gorneo ran and found another smoke room, and he said it gave him the heebie-jeebies, so he didn't stay there long. And then they're like, oh, by the way, there is this chest to the north, so let's go back there. And we're like, okay, we like chests. And so it goes mostly Simos and Rory, who are like, yeah, let's loot that bitch. So they go, and then they hear this voice, and then I think Cognar was there too, because Cognar likes stuff. They hear this voice. It's a creepy voice that didn't want to come out. And eventually it came out, and it turns out to be a one-eyed, one-horned purple people eater. But
not a flying leader?
He didn't have wings.
So just a one-eyed, one-horned people eater. Okay.
Yes. But he didn't eat anyone. We made a deal with him that we wouldn't kill him. And he's like, oh, yeah, the dagger's that way. And so Cornelia's like, Mushi, dagger. I'm like, yeah, dagger, let's go. And I missed the rest of it. Because, dagger. And so they talked to it for a while. I don't remember all the information they got from it. But
so basically it went like squirrel and you went chasing it.
Well, yeah. Obviously.
More or less. You basically traded information in order for the party to agree to just let him go. And so the party asked a couple of questions, like Mushi asked where the dagger is, I think it was Mushi asked where the dagger is, and he pointed it down the elevator shaft. Somebody else asked who the prophet is, and he kind of sneered and sniffed everyone on the party before saying, none of you, at least not yet.
And then Cognar's like, well, she is.
And then Cognar asked where the Forge of Creation is. And the party simultaneously had a vision.
The what of creation?
The Forge of Creation.
Ah.
And basically the party was given a vision of, I'll get to the map. And in that vision, they saw basically the entrance to what they now believe to be the Forge of Creation at a couple of points. The kind of vision the party had, what is happy today, was this flight of stairs up in the Temple of Eternal Flame.
Okay.
And the second vision the party got was the grand staircase, but rather than going down, following the stairs going up.
They go up?
They go up as well as down.
Man, I thought it just went down.
And while the party was experiencing those visions, when they came back to their senses, this one-eyed purple people eater was no longer there. And by one-eyed purple people eater, she means a Nothic. That's similar to the one that the party encountered underneath Rundreth Manor way back in Van Dalen, the one-eyed small creature.
Was it also one-horned?
It didn't have a horn. My recollection.
So one-eyed purple non-people eater.
I think he had some like spikes on his back. It's like bumpy, but
I mean, technically.
The crazy thing is, I don't even think he's purple.
I was about to say he's not purple. He was gray.
So he's a one-eyed, gray, non-horned, non-flying, non-people eater.
Yeah.
That's never going to make it as a song.
I don't know. Cognar can convince some bards to write any song. So anyway, all of that happens. And we're like, okay, well, here's the elevator. I think I know how to make it go down. And I think Gorneo bounced onto the elevator. And he's like, hey, how do we make it go down? I'm like, hold on. Let me figure this out. Let's get the party together.
Hold on, let me figure this out. She means she said something and the elevator started dropping.
Going down or dropping?
Going down.
It started to go down. And so we're like, oh, well, we have about 2 seconds to get on the elevator. There's 6 of us. There's 4 spots. Survival of the fittest mode, go.
And who missed?
Everyone. Mushi started to fall because Gorneo, she threw a rope to Gorneo that Gorneo gave hers that she threw to him after he bounced. She totally, failed that save, hardcore. So he was trying to save her, and
but Gorneo was able to effectively athletics himself off the side of the descending elevator platform. Mushi in one hand, the other, as it was dropping down. Simos had cast Fly upon Gerbender. Gerbender scooped up Rory in his arms and started descending down the elevator shaft at a slightly slower pace than the elevator itself was going. And one by one, the party managed to get onto the platform as it was descending. But in that struggle, Cognar got pushed off the side of the platform, and Cognar fell. And Cognar became a significantly more religious dwarf in his fall, and narrowly missed one of the rocks below, and he just plunged right into magma, taking something like 95 points of damage.
Something like
that. It was a lot of damage.
He took 99 points of damage from the initial plunge, and then he took 60-something on his way out of the lava.
Yeah.
Look, it's fall damage. It's how Cognar would want to go.
Yeah, that's what we said. So it was like, okay.
So Cognar started clawing his way out of the magma, and in doing so, triggered the defenses of a number of cult members who were down here. They started raining down all sorts of fire upon Cognar as he was struggling to climb back up onto the rocks. The party, meanwhile, was still slowly descending from this elevator, and as soon as they started to get line of sight, people were bamfing off the platform, launching spells into the fray, and all sorts of shenanigans, until the platform lowered down upon the lava and this rock stepstone-like path up to where the cultists were at.
And now we're staring at a bunch of cultists and a fire giant, huh?
More or less.
Yeah, it's been great.
In the middle of a fight.
More or less.
And I'm unconscious.
Where he's already taken
procedure.
150 points of damage.
Yes.
Yeah, and Gorneo's unconscious. So, standard operating procedure.
Yep. Okay.
And so, Bender, you have a fly speed of 60, currently dropped to 30 feet because you're carrying Rory. You guys have just swooped in from the elevator shaft, and you're about 10 feet off the ground right now.
Okay.
And effectively, that's where we can pick up.
Oh, fuck yeah, the Diamondbacks are winning again. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Hopefully that means we'll win too.
So starting off with one of these entities that is garbed in the metallic armor with a chest emblem glowing like Tony Stark. Starting off, plunging his spear towards Cognar 3 times.
So let me get this right. He has a chest-like chest emblem.
Like the reactor for Tony Stark, the glow.
That's not very chest-like.
Oh, it's super chest-like. Like a pirate's chest.
Oh, so it's roughly.
So these 3 swings coming towards Cognar are going to be a 22, a 20 total, and a natural 20 to hit him.
None of those hit. Yeah, they all hit.
Fantastic. That is going to be...
Oh, I have to do math playing Cognar. Boo.
Oh, goody. I still have 1 channel divinity. I'm really glad I didn't use that.
27 points of piercing damage for all 3 attacks, up to 14 points.
14
points.
total?
13 points total, yes. 1, 2, and a deep pierce with this spear.
Do I need to roll initiative?
If you are not on there, yes.
Oh, yeah, he's not on there.
I was just moving you on around 20.
Yeah, because you were descending that whole time. So.
Oh, lovely. 7.
Oh, real quick, for Cognar, also 11 points of fire with your staff for 5 points of fire damage.
Hey, it's Monday Night Football.
It's a fantasy football draft, actually. That's just, it makes that noise at the start, and I need. Can I turn the media down? Oh,
you're doing a draft right now?
It's a 16 team. It's a 16 team draft, and so basically, I just have to do like my first few picks, and I'm going to let it auto draft.
With a great swooping motion, the fire giant swings his great sword, connecting with Cognar. attempting to connect with Cognar. First, a 16 to hit, followed by a
That misses.
23.
23 hits.
As he swings this massive piece of metal. That is going to be 22 points of slashing damage, halved to 11, because Cognar is continuing to rage. Stemos.
Move up to right there. Grin gets a little bit bigger because I'm getting into the fray. And the guy to the left of me, he's wearing armor, yeah?
Yes, he is.
And I'm going to try to shocking grasp him.
All right.
Oh, you need to take the stunned off of them.
Both of them? A 26 is going to connect, dealing 10 points of lightning damage to this guy.
And when we fought these kind of people before, they was immune to fire, right?
Yes.
Then that's all I would do for them.
All right. Cognar.
Cognar. He gets 2 attacks, right?
Yes.
And he
And
gets a 3rd attack if he recklessly swings. Oh no, he's not a reckless barbarian. Never mind. Okay, so he gets 2 attacks with the dwarven thrower. Is that what I see here? D thrower.
yes.
Why does he only get a +7 to hit? Isn't a dwarven thrower like a +3?
He's not attuned to it yet.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so 1
No better time than now.
is a
He's
19
gonna
hit,
hit.
and I get extra damage, right?
You do.
2d6, 2d8.
Extra 2d8, yes.
Suck a dick.
That's 7 damage plus 9 damage.
Oh, that makes me sad.
That second swing is not going to hit.
Okay. And what does Cognar do with
his
his
first
bonus
swing-
action?
He's raging up. He could try
Oh,
to shove either of the guys next to him or knock one of them prone.
Does he have his shield?
He put his
does.
shield back on with his thing.
Dwarven thrower. Okay. So yeah, he'll try to shove this one prone.
All right.
Athletics, right?
Yes, sir. And he's got advantage with this because he's raging.
14. Man, I'm a bad Cognar.
Cognar reaches back with his shield, attempting to smack this guy and surprise him, knocking him off his feet. However, this guy is standing strong still after the impact.
Cognar always rolls better with real dice.
That is the end of Cognar's turn.
Mushi.
Possibly because he lies about the results.
I'm going to take a step forward.
I was just going to say, stepping forward gets you 10 feet of movement, gets you to that last bit off of that difficult terrain pathway.
Yeah, I just want to be off of the lava. Feels safer. And then I will actually move over one. And I'm going to target this lovely creature here.
All right.
Stay across. Hopefully slow him down a little bit.
Blasting forward this bolt of frigid energy betwixt Simos and your down teammate Gorneo. It blasts into his chest and releases a pulse of light, and ever so faintly, you can see the crystal glowing in his chest dim, ever so faintly, as he takes 6 points of cold damage.
And I think that's all I can do right now.
Rory.
No.
Yes. Okay.
Have I put Rory down or am I still carrying her?
Grimender, you are still carrying her.
We're still 10 feet off the ground, right?
Yeah, 10 feet off the ground. Quick hop, small amount of damage.
I think I'll just wait till we land. That sounds good. But yeah, I think I'll just do. There's my character. I'm going to fire an arrow at this guy, and I've already used my triple arrow, I think, from before.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Firing
so,
at which guy?
oh, I clicked on him, but the big one.
Big one? Okay, there it goes.
Hold on.
So as Gerbender is flying the pair of them down to the solid surface of the ground, Rory pulls back on an arrow, loosening it above where Cognar is swinging. And as he's deflecting the second swing of Cognar, an arrow pierces through his armor, dealing sneak attack damage, 22 points of damage total to him.
Woo!
And he rears back with a scream. Oh!
Okay,
Anything else you would like to do? All right, Gorneo, can I get a death save, please?
Oh. I am not rolling well tonight.
Don't worry, I got your back.
That's what I hope.
It's literally what we're relying on.
In 2 or 3 turns, I'll heal you.
I trust you, Gerbender. You haven't let me die yet.
Speaking of trust, the guy towards the back launches a fireball from his wrist. And as it explodes, can I get everybody in this radius to roll me a dexterity save?
Okay, now I'm in trouble. That's just one failure, right? Because it's a spell?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not an automatic crit.
Well, I'm at 2 failures.
And can I get a dex save? There it is. 17 Cognar.
By the way, I'm a bad Cognar. I was rolling like dog shit.
So I take none.
Must be nice.
Is that for the bit that's for spells that only affect you?
No.
Okay.
Use my reaction to take 0 on a dex save.
All right. As the flames waft out after the explosion, you can see Gorneo looks slightly more singed, lying on the ground, and Cognar's beard is ever so blackened by that flame.
It's stubble.
Bender.
I was about to say he doesn't have a beard anymore.
So mean.
Okay, so what sort of action is it going to be to put Rory down?
Say a bonus action?
I don't know. It's a free action to drop a weapon.
No, it's free action to interact with an object.
I mean, you could just drop her.
If I were just
Yeah,
on
that's
his
what I-
back, like
That's
piggyback,
what I
could
was
just-
saying.
oh.
Just drop her.
If you're willing to use basically difficult terrain up until the point that you drop her, I'd say that's sufficient enough.
Okay, because I was just going to drop her right here. She's nice and out of the way.
All right. So 10 feet of movement to do that.
Okay, so 10 feet. And then so I have a fly speed of 60, right?
Yes.
That means I can go 50 from there.
So remember, as you were flying over the heads of everybody else, this little line represents a crack in the surface, and where you are currently, that bit is 4 feet up above the other bit.
That's what I was hoping you'd say.
Not like a significant difference, but it is 4 feet.
So I'm actually going to go just short of that, so I'm sure I'm in range. Yeah. And can I still channel divinity while I'm flying?
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm going to channel divinity as I fly over.
I'm the one who's concentrating on the spell, so you can do everything that you can normally do.
So that's 45 hit points. I'll give 25 to Corneo and 20 to Cognar.
All right.
Sweet.
Thank you, Gerbender.
You're welcome.
I like not being dead.
So that was that.
All right, Diamondbacks win.
So there's an action. And I guess I'll throw a healing word at Corneo as well.
All right.
Say no to that. 9.
Nice.
Oh shit! I'm almost half.
There we go.
Awesome. Awesome.
That's my turn.
This guy is going to take 3 additional three additional attacks at Cognar, all with advantage because of the flanking with the fire giant. Starting off with a 21,
That hits.
a 25,
That hits.
and another 25.
Damn it. Why can't you roll like last week? They all hit.
Yep, those all hit.
All hit. Sorry. I had Skype.
I wasn't
but
sure
not
if you
my
were here or
microphone.
not. Tag team in this.
So was that the guy that's currently next to Corneo?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, so that is going to be a total of 13 points of piercing damage, have to because you are raging, and 9 points of fire damage, have to 4 because you are raging.
Got it.
All right. And the guy to Cognar's north is going to take 3 attacks Cognar's way. With a natural 1, a 10 total, and a 16 to hit.
All miss.
Ominous. Fire giant.
No.
Great swoop with his great sword coming down Cognar's way. Starting off with what would have been a natural 1, but because of the flanking advantage, is now a natural 2 to hit. Followed by what would have been a natural 2 is now going to be a 29 to hit.
Yes.
Less happier ending on that second one. 28 points of slashing damage, have to 14 because you are raging.
All right.
Damn. Took
Seamless.
3 attacks and took less damage than that.
I'm gonna try to shock the guy to the left of me.
All right.
Shock left me. Just
With that
Shotgun to
advantage,
the right,
because of
here
his
I
metal
am.
armor, this is going to hit, dealing 4 points of lightning damage as it surges over his system. Anything else you would like to do?
I'll move up to there. That's my turn.
All right. Cognar.
All right. Well, since these guys are all getting advantage on me anyway, I'm gonna recklessly attack this guy, the giant, fire giant.
Okay.
18.
18 is just what you needed to hit.
All right, so that's the first. And cock die. And a 25.
25 is going to hit.
All right, so if I remember last week, it was additional 2d8.
Yep.
Yes, perfect.
All right, all the maths. 1 second. 16, 30 plus. That's going to be 44 points of damage.
It had 43 left.
Yeah.
Cognar, you slice down into his ankle, shaking a chunk out of the metal, and you can hear the bone breaking with your impact as it slices right through his leg. As he goes to drop to a knee, you slice for the neck, raining down a shower of this giant's blood over your form.
I hit him so strong with the bludgeoning weapon, I slashed him. It's great.
I know, it's super impressive.
Bashed right through the metal, definitely through the shin bone.
Your attack is super effective.
I guess.
It was so effective it did bludgeoning and slashing damage. Anything else you would like to do, sir?
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and, with my bonus action, I'm going to shield bash the guy below me.
All right.
Actually, yeah, the guy below me. Oh, jeez. So that is a 25.
8 is 12. He goes
Pro.
down, collapsing to the ground.
Sweet.
And with that, Mushi.
Well, I'm going to keep on after this guy. My team's off. This one.
Ranged attacks are going to be at disadvantage because he is prone right now. But saves aren't effective, depending on the types.
Well, I'm going to go for this one instead.
All right. Here she fires for her first target. Seeing he's down, tries to aim just slightly higher. Herbing with this ray of frost as it blasts into the chest of this guy, and the crystal in his chest flares up as he takes 6 points of cold damage.
That's right. And that, you know what? I will move up a little bit too. Oh, look. There's the giant. He's dead.
There was the giant.
There's the giant
Here
there, guys.
lies this massive fire giant.
Rory.
Yes. Okay. Rory's going to. She's gonna scooch up. This is about 25 feet. It's about as far as she can go. Is the big mountain of a guy? How tall is he?
Even now, as they piled up heap on the floor, he's roughly like a 10-foot mound.
Seriously?
He's a giant.
By
Wow.
literal definition.
Well,
This guy wrote the book on giants.
so how can I still see this guy?
Through, patches and holes and bits and bobs where his ankles are all strewn all funky.
I mean, he's
Okay.
tall, you're not.
Thanks. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna try and aim over Samos and Cognar. Can I do that for this guy?
Sure.
I'm just gonna throw my dagger at him.
Fire away.
I think you need to click the Res Your Dagger one.
Oh, I do. Did I get that back?
Not yet, no. That is still in the bag of holding. God.
Never
Oh.
mind.
You can still whip the guy on the ground, though, if you're just trying to figure out who to attack.
I believe you have regular daggers, though.
She has Mordin's +1 dagger.
That's right. +1 dagger.
They're not on my character sheet. Should I just roll it?
Roll it at 1.
If you use the Resure dagger, that'll give you the +1 on it. But it's just not the Resure dagger. Yeah.
The dagger of Moradin, though?
It's the same stat bonuses. So if you roll that one.
Basically, he made your ordinary dagger a +1 weapon for until the next long rest or something like that.
Yeah, essentially every time I long rest, I can make a weapon +1.
Okay.
So if
So
you
what
use
should I
that
do?
dagger, it'll give you all the stats you need to attack with it.
So the Resurrect deck.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what you're saying. Now I understand. Okay, let's see that then. Da, da, da.
Right. Launching this dagger over Hognar's head. It veers at a bit of a wide angle, and this guy smacks it with the tip of his spear, and it jets out of the intended direction and instead kind of cascades into the wall beside Gravender. 10 is not going to hit. Anything else you would like to do?
I'm gonna use my bonus action to try and hide next to this big of a dead dude.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Cool.
Awesome. With that, Rory tucks herself down behind the fire giant beside her, Gorneo.
All right. I am going to see this guy chanting and stuff. I'm going to use a charge from my cloak to bonus action Misty Step. 30 feet. Stand up. Block the rest. Stabby, stabby.
All right.
16 to hit.
Stabby stab is going to hit, and as your sword pierces into his form, he flares back out at you with a intense heat, and you are going to take 9 points of fire damage.
Fuck these guys, man. Yeah, hit him again.
Fire
21
damage, right?
is going to hit. Well, now you're going to take 3 points of fire damage that time.
Was that 3?
3.
I'm going to stunning strike him.
All right.
DC 14. Con save.
That's a total of 7. He's stunned.
He's stunned. That's the end of my turn.
A series of rapid strikes. Gorneo stabs into this guy's chest twice. And on the second punch, he is effectively locked in place on his turn. Gravender, what would you like to do?
Okay. So we've still got this. That guy there's still alive, right?
Yes. Both the guys, all except the fire giant, are still alive.
Okay. Lub, be careful. Then I think what I'm going to do, because I'm still flying.
Yes, sir.
I think I want to fly and land. Right there.
All right.
And when I land, I want to... It's would be really awesome to have 2 attacks. But that's a different character. I think...
Gravender launches himself forward, taking a flanking position with Gorneo. Contemplates a spell or a weapon as he charges down, 3-point landing into place. Stand tall.
Yep, hero landing. Hero landing! Yeah. I'm just going to attack him.
And attacks. With
With advantage. How about a crit?
29, a critical hit is absolutely
That is
good.
perfect.
If you can roll me, I think that's roll me one more d8 for the radiant damage. And
It's double dice, right? So just roll another
yeah,
attack.
that didn't do your crit. Yeah.
So
Right.
there's 2 attacks.
There we go.
I knew I was going to get them.
Right. So
Now see about
one
making sure that crit is double damage.
Has that got your modifier in it? 1. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's got +1 to attack and +1 to damage.
Okay. Is that the higher of your strength or dex? Because it
Not
is
adding
a
your modifier.
Oh yeah.
It's straight
It doesn't-
up
it is
right
a
now.
finesse longsword.
No, I didn't have the strength bonus on there.
All right.
So that's plus another
8, right?
4 for each.
Forward. But it was
Wait,
just
sorry,
a crit.
never mind.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So +4.
All right. So 4 more damage.
Silly new weapons.
All right. He definitely felt that impact as you plunged the blade down into his chest. As his chest flares out from the open wound, Grimender flaring out for what would be 5 points of fire damage. The ring flares up one more time with a vibrant red light, and instead going to drop to 2 points of fire damage to you, sir.
All right.
The guy behind Cognar is going to stand himself back up and take a couple more swings at Cognar. No longer with advantage. The flank
Actually,
mate
he
is now
does.
lying.
He does. I
Reckless
recklessly
attack.
attacked.
Yes. Thank you. So 3 attacks
Way to be
coming your
honest.
way.
Yep.
Yes. For a 13 to hit,
Miss.
a 25 to hit,
Hit.
and another 25 to hit.
2 hits.
These guys love being just short of critting.
I like it.
Whole lot of 19s with these guys. So 2 hits. For a total of 17 points of piercing damage from the spear's plunge, and the flames from the tip of their weapon is going to do an additional 5 points of fire damage, half to 2.
Okay.
That is him. The guy to Cognar's north is going to go for the same exact thing. Starting off with a 16 to hit,
Miss.
a 21 to hit,
That hits.
and a 17 to hit.
That misses.
All right. That
1 hit.
for 9 points of piercing damage, have to 4 because you were raging. 4 points of fire, have to 2 because you were raging.
Got it.
Oh, fire giant dead. Simos.
At this point, you can notice Emos is getting frustrated that the guy that he's attacking just keeps annoying him. And he's going to try to attack him again.
All right. Gripping hold tightly of this guy this
Oh,
time. The lightning continues to grow in amplification until he is no longer able to ignore your presence anymore. And the lightning surges as his arms just lock up, and you can start to smell the burning smell of his flesh wafting up from beneath his armor as he is fried.
I'll make it to there, and that's my turn.
All right, Cognar.
Alright. Well, Cognar is going to attempt a shove this time.
All right.
Ooh, not very bueno. 13.
Natural 20 on his save.
Of course.
You go to shove, but he slams his spear into place, helping him to hold his ground.
I see. You don't like to move it, so I will attack you anyway. 2 hits.
All right, with advantage for flanking.
Natural 20.
Natural 20
We
is going
like
to
to
hit.
move it, move it. We like to move it, move it.
And
We like to
a
move it, move it. We like to
26.
move it.
26 is also going to hit.
Alright. So the crit is going to be 2d8 and 1d8 for the regular.
All right.
Let's see. 26 points of damage.
26 total.
Yep.
All right. He felt that as you swing the hammer and send a piece of his armor broken off of his shoulder piece. The pauldrons just shatter upon impact from this blow. And he recoils ever so slightly.
Well, that's my turn.
All right, Mushi.
Okay, I want to try something. I'm going to move here, and I would like to
Alright.
target this guy. And I would like to use lightning lure to bring him 10 feet closer to me.
That has a 15-foot range on it. Currently, he is 20 feet away, I believe.
Oh, I thought I got close. I thought he was 15 now. Okay, well, I will take a little step forward
All right.
to take a half step.
With that, you blast forth this lightning lure from your wrist. And with a natural 2 on his save, he is going to be yanked 10 feet towards you.
And would that provoke an opportunity attack from Cosner?
It will not, because he's effectively moved against his will. But it
Force
does
movement
take
doesn't.
12 points
that
of
was my
lightning
hope.
damage. But you have gotten Simos out of his threatening range.
Well, you're welcome, Simo. I did something.
Also made it much more likely that he's flanked on his next attack.
And Rory.
Okay. Well,
You get sneak attack if you stab that guy.
I don't have any daggers on me. That's the only problem. I can use my rapier though. So I'm just going to stabby.
All right.
Rapier dagger, quick attack, short sword, rapier. Yeah.
24 is going to hit.
I like to stabby, stabby. I like to stabby, stabby.
Piercing. Damn it.
I approve the
Jesus.
adoption of Stabby.
Mm-hmm.
You see where a portion of this guy's armor was just blasted off by Cognar's hammer's impact. And that is where you target your rapier, piercing through deeply. And just the faintest trickle of blood leaves the wound as it starts filling up his body cavity from the inside.
Nice.
That is a lot of...
I think you pitched for his liver.
He is gonna need therapy if he survives this. Anything else you would like to do?
That's it.
All right, Corneo.
Okay. That guy's
Double
Little-
advantage.
kickback to me is actually really bad for me.
Don't you still have those boomerangs?
Yeah. So I'm going to twinkle toes away from him. Just a good old 10 feet. I'm going to boomerang him.
All right. Launching this boomerang from your hand, it just knocks into the side of its brain. A very hollow-like sound as he takes the...
He has a hollow brain.
Second attack, I'll chuck a dart at him. 20.
The dart also finds success, dealing
Oh, and the dart
Yeah.
does sneak attack.
13 points of damage.
Is he still up?
It's still up.
What a
And
dick.
each one of these small impacts against his flesh flare out with a vibrant fire.
Well, I will move back to here. And... Oh, wait. Oh, no. I'd have to use my bonus action to do an unarmed strike. Fuck it. So, unarmed strike.
You ran away so he wouldn't hit you with fire.
Yeah, for the first 2 attacks, but I need to give you advantage too.
All right.
That's fine, you don't have-
24 is going to hit, dealing 8 points of bludgeoning damage to him. And he flares back out for 1 point of fire damage to you, sir.
That's the end of my turn.
All right. And now, on his turn, he is going to launch a fireball up towards Simos. And as it explodes, it ruptures about the area. And can I get a dexterity save from everyone not immune to fire?
So everyone.
Not everyone.
Oh, damn.
Hey, I finally made one.
All right. Jeez.
Nice.
That's a second 23 tonight. But the number to beat is a DC of 14. So Gorneo effectively is going to
Yeah,
take
half of
0.
that, so it counts.
Verbender, you're taking a quarter of this. Mushi, you're taking half of this. And Rory is taking none of this.
Yeah.
And Cognar is also going to take half of this.
Yep.
So
Low rolls.
Please.
you're telling me that's 19 points of fire damage. Halved to 10.
Halved and quartered.
Verbender and Cognar.
I'll take 5
and-
points of damage.
Yes. Jeez. 19. Wow. That's
So,
one of the lowest
9?
fireballs I've ever seen. Cognar, yours is 10.
10. Okay.
Mine's 10.
Yes, Mushi's 10.
He's still
That
up.
fire is not as hot as
Barely.
mine.
And with that, Verbender is up.
Agner, I prepared you for much stronger fireballs than that. You're welcome.
So I'm going to go ahead and use the advantage and attack again.
All right. A 24 is going to hit as the blade slices through his form for 19 points of damage.
Is he still up?
Still up.
Okay.
He's a tough cookie.
He is.
He's stronger than the giant.
I don't know about that. Cognar was wailing on that giant.
I know, but I didn't even see the giant alive, so for all I know.
Yeah, that's Cognar's fault.
Thanks, Cognar. We could have had a lovely
Did it hit on
conversation.
him?
Cognar, giant's bane.
Giant door
Okay.
pane.
So I'm not concentrating on any spells.
You are not.
So I'm going to cast that. It's a bonus action on Gorneo.
Gorneo. All right.
Cool.
Nice.
AC is 19.
You with purple dot. Anything else you would like to do, sir?
Nope, that's it.
All right. This Razor Blast is not going to like the wound he just took from the smaller individual standing behind him. He's going to lash out with 3 jabs of his spear towards Rory. Rory, this is going to be a 9, a 16, and an 18 to hit.
2 hit.
2 hit.
Oh, wait, no, just 1, because if it's
Just
16,
one?
16 meets it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, meets it, beats it.
All right, so that's going to be 4 points of piercing damage to you and 2 points of fire damage.
Okay. And I can't use evasion or anything, right? Actually, I may well not. It's not that much. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'll take-
there's some kind of uncanny dodge, I think it is, where you have the damage.
Melee attacks.
That's okay. I'll save it for later.
Okay. So, Simos.
As his new best friend gets pulled away from him because he had armor on, and he can just keep zapping and repeat it. He's gonna look back at Mushi and give her a glare, and then just turn back around and try to chill touch the guy between Gorneo and Gorbin.
All
Why would
right.
he glare at me? I didn't do anything. He's after my dagger. I don't like him anymore.
You guys, Rubender and Gorneo, watch as the target standing in between the pair of them. The fire about his form slowly dims and fades as he just sort of crunches over upon his own form, dropping down to the ground, and his skin looks to just shrink in and start to shrivel up, very dry. He is expunged.
And I run to there, and that'll be my turn.
Cognar.
I'm going
Timos, am I going to
to.
have to tackle you?
I'm going to throw my hammer at the guy,
All right.
and that's probably gonna miss. That's a 10.
Cognar launches his hammer, and it goes right over Rory's head, sticking into the wall as it goes.
To pull it back with the chain.
Shanna returning.
Yep, that's 20, or it's 19. And I'll throw it again for my second attack.
Again.
Much better. Hey, buddy. And that's going to be a 24.
Blast into this guy. That's going to hit.
I bet Rom would roll better.
12 points of damage.
We can let Ron
Points of
roll.
damage. Cognar, as your hammer makes impact with the crystal in the middle of his chest, he explodes, and as the shrapnel just erupts around him, can I get Cognar, Rory, and Mushi to roll me a dexterity save?
Here, buddy. You roll. Roll.
Start him early.
All right, so little guy rolled a 16.
All right.
Woo, Rob.
See, totally better than you.
Yeah, you did.
So DC of this explosion is a 12. And so Rory, using evasion, is going to take 0. Cognar, can you use that twice in a round?
Yeah, it's my turn, so I got
Yeah.
a new reaction.
Okay. So Cognar, you can drop this to 0 yourself if you so choose. It would be 10 points of fire damage.
Yeah,
Total
I'll
of
choose.
20 because you passed. The 10 is now dropped to 0. But Mushi, you are still going to take the 10 points of piercing damage. Sorry. From the shrapnel of his armor just blasting off. But he is dead as well. And with that, we're effectively out of initiative.
I am going this way. Following Zemos. He looks like he knows where he's going.
I'm just looking for traps as I go.
And I will give
I
it
want to try to hide up somewhere and take a short rest.
So half of this oddly shaped chamber is set higher than the other half, as if cracked and shifted a few feet upward. A natural pillar looks to be the only feature of this upper level, and in the center of the lower level, a vortex of flame jets from the floor towards the ceiling. Numerous exits head off in different directions about your perimeter. Eventually, that gets burned up. Eventually, the camping fire of these guys.
When Gorbendo says something about short resting, Simos will stop, start breathing heavily, and he'll kind of look at the group.
What's your rush, Zemos?
Well, what is like your passive insight? I'm trying to figure out what you can pick up on Simos here.
My passive insight is 10.
Maybe.
I'm going to fly over.
And Gournay would pick up that whenever we was in a fight, I was almost like Cognar about losing my mind in battle and enjoying.
I'm going to pick up Rory and like take her to the upper platform and start like lifting each, flying around and grabbing each person and taking them up there.
All right.
I take the giant sword, brace it up against the platform, and then try to break it with foe breaker.
All right. Cognar, can I get
God, no, that's going to make a lot of noise.
an athletics check with advantage?
That's going to be a 23.
Cognar, you swing your hammer down and with a loud echoing ring, like a hammer on a thick, solid anvil. It bounces off, echoing throughout the chamber with a very solid twang. But the the blade is still intact.
I want to pull out my wand and use detect magic and investigate the bodies.
So that's a 30-foot radius?
Yes.
Alright. With a surge of Gorneo's wand, a small chainmail satchel at the waist of this fire giant glows ever so faintly. Yes. Gorneo pulls it out. Effectively, that's what he sees. As the party starts making their way up to this second half, this upper shelf.
Do I find anything else on any of the other bodies?
On the other bodies, if you take the time to search them, you will find...
This blade?
75 gold pieces amongst the three of them.
How tall is the platform?
4 feet up.
Oh, okay. I know it's the power of the dark side, buddy. So I'm gonna, since the sword is still braced there, I'm actually gonna use it to climb up.
All right.
And then I'll pull it up onto the platform.
All right. So as Gorneo's going over the bodies, Tognar takes a swing with his hammer and is unable to shatter the blade that he was holding. Instead, uses it like a ramp, climbing himself up this 4-foot platform.
Gorneo will just climb himself up there.
All right.
He will walk over to Semos and he'll say, Semos, you all right?
Oh, I'm fine. What kind of pouch did you find?
Well, I found it's the vial is what was glowing, right?
The vial is what was glowing, yes.
He'll hand you a vial that looks empty but feels as though it holds liquid. He'll say, you mind taking a look at this?
Is that the only one that you find?
It's the only magical thing I found.
I'll take a look at it and see if I know what it is.
Before we settle down to that, Simos, I've heard that you've made a kind of, I don't know, campsite for us before. That dome thing. Could it be?
Takes 10 minutes to cast, and then we have it for 8 hours.
Could it be camouflaged to look something like this rock back here?
If you have means to make something look like rock.
So your magic can't make it look like whatever you want it to look like?
Is it just invisible?
It's opaque.
Pretty sure.
You say it's
Like
pink?
throw
Color.
dirt on it and stuff, maybe.
Yeah, it's opaque of the color that he chooses. We could disguise it if we wanted to.
I could make it look the same color, but not the texture.
Well, if we try to get as far back as we can and put that dome over us, perhaps we can keep an eye on anyone coming to investigate this carnage without being seen.
Should we try and drag the bodies into the lava?
They won't burn.
I don't think it'll make any difference.
Oh,
I'll
that's
start
true.
casting my light over here.
I'm gonna come over to Gravender and whisper to him. Hopefully out of Simos' ear range, but we'll see. It's not very sneaky. I will say, Gravender, what was it that you said to Simos earlier to get him to step out of the circle? He seemed a little off-putting ever since, don't you think?
I told him that I believed it was not a summoning circle, but a circle for possession, and that we must fight as opposed to stepping into it. I think his blood is up. I think that is all. It happens to everyone once in a while.
It does seem very hot. He just a lot about the dagger, and it bothers me. By a lot, I mean one question.
So, Yushi, if this dagger is here, what do you want to do with it?
Well, first we're going to stop whatever ritual they're trying to perform with it.
Then
I guess we'll see what happens from there.
you know we may have to use it and banish it to a different plane. That's what our dead wizard friend, his name I'm forgetting.
The one who died from lightning accidentally.
You guys are lucky he's not here right now.
His name Loxus, obviously. Bender.
That's what Loxus's notebook was saying, that it might be the keys to whatever is going on here.
Well, if that's the case, then that's the case. And as I've said before, I find it odd that this whole time I've been thinking I've been chasing a dagger, and now when Corneo was face to face and even held the dagger in his grasp, I had no inkling to where it was. So I wonder if it is in fact the dagger been pulling me in this direction or something different entirely.
Well, perhaps we will find out soon.
I hope so. Let's get this rest done with so we can move forward and hopefully stop whatever madness they're trying to create. Really good if we could survive too, but I'll get our hopes up.
Simos was so trying to listen in on that conversation because those two start whispering.
What's your
I'm not
passive
very
perception?
like after the first sentence, I'm not going to whisper as much anymore, but definitely the first one. I'm going to try.
I have a plus
Okay.
5, so 15.
Corneo heard the whole thing.
You hear everything.
It's okay, I read Mishi's lips too.
Something else that Gorneo and Simos can see as Mishi is having this conversation is behind them on the wall, roughly about here, up towards the top, looks to be some sort of natural vent of some sort, cleverly hidden amongst these sulfur stones. But even more cleverly hidden are a number of what look to be carved footsteps, like that of a ladder, that lead up about 15 feet up this wall to this small vent.
As soon as Semos is done casting his spell, I'm going to scale that.
All right.
Because we all have to be inside when you cast it, right?
I believe so, but then anybody besides Simos can come or go. By the way,
Right.
Garbender, your flying thing only lasts for a total 10 minutes, so if you want to fly and have fun, have fun.
I think I'm best served here.
Cognar attunes to the hammer.
So are we going for the full 8 hours or going for a short rest?
There's a
Short rest.
Short rest
All
to
right.
start.
All right. So as the hours tick by, you can everybody within this small vicinity of one another as the small hut, a tiny hut in fact, is erected around the party, appearing in space as it has a number of times before. And the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is just how much cooler the temperature is within the confines of these tent walls than it was just immediately outside of them. As time begins to tick by, the party witnesses a number of happenings about this location. Every so often, a wound will open up on the ground, and a just spurt of flame gouts out from this wound. Bits and pieces of the flooring just fall away to some sort of pit unseen before. A number of creatures crawl up out from the magma and then back down beneath its surface. Some of them look to be made of flame as they do so. However, as the hours do slowly go by, the party is successful in acquiring their long rest, gaining half your levels worth.
I thought we were doing short rest.
I thought we were doing a short rest.
Oh, you were going for the full 8 hours.
No,
You
short
can
rest.
short rest.
Short rest.
Okay.
Well, it's
So,
good to
as the
know we
party
could rest for 8
passes,
hours and be fine.
The walls of the tiny hut still hold firm for 7 more hours, and with that, the party has finished a short rest. Feel free to expend as many hit dice as you would like.
Nice.
Bender
Yeah,
goes
that
from
green.
slight cover to ground to firmly touching it.
Nice.
Dang. Lucky duck.
Means
I rolled
You
a
needed it.
4, so I needed it. Oh, fuck yeah!
Okay, Amanda, we get it. You got into Nick's character sheet somehow.
You know what? I'm just gonna roll them all. I don't even care. What the? Oh, this is
Jesus.
awesome!
Go to Vegas. Go to Vegas now.
Love the glitch while you got it.
Well, I guess I will save those last 2 then. Okay. So after the hour,
Todd and I would
Cornell
roll dice too, probably.
we'll motion to Gerbender up at the vent and say, I'm gonna go check that out.
All right.
Oh, God, nice dice.
So I'm going to stealth as I
Get in.
exit the
Get-
tiny hut.
All right.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, nothing. Go.
Don't forget, we need to roll Cognar's dice.
I don't know how many he wants to use.
I would assume at least half.
Yeah, I would say at least half now, and if he wants more when he gets back, I feel like we can backtrack.
4.
This is the place with the profit and everything, right? So we probably should
Right.
have
This
pretty
could
good health
be the
going
end.
in.
So,
So he gets 23, 29, 35, 50.
And he's also now attuned to the Dwarven Thrower, so he's got a +3 to attack and damage on those rolls. And on ranged attacks with it, it deals an extra D8 of damage.
I can at least add the modifier.
And he no longer has to chain overturning it.
So he gets a +3 to attack with it,
Yes.
and +3 to damage, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I at least added that for him. Okay. I am going to climb up to the vent, and I'm going to peek in there.
All right.
You said it's about, yeah?
Yeah, right about, yeah. As you start climbing up these loose footholds, you make your way up, and you can begin to see what looks like a... The steep passage before you looks to open up into a chamber with a convex floor. It just domes up right in the center of this room. And scores of humanoid skulls, most of them scorched and charred, look to be stuffed into niches in the walls. Many of them burn with fires and flares, each varying in color, casting the entire chamber up here in a bizarre disco-like light.
Do I see any humanoids?
You do not.
You know what? I think it's worthy. I'm going to use the charge of my cloak and go invisible.
All right.
And I'm going to proceed into the room.
All right.
Oh, hold on. Before I proceed into the room, I'm going to, on the earring, say, Mushi, can you hear me? Can she hear me? Mushi, can you hear me? Come in. Hello.
I was waiting to make sure I could. I was waiting for.
Sorry. Yes.
I was like, sometimes I can't. I don't know.
That's
yeah.
fair. That's why I was testing
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I see a very strange room with lots of different colors and orbit decorations. I'm gonna take a look around. Don't move until I say so.
Oh, we will stay here. And I will, everyone, O'Neill said don't move.
Tell Cognar.
Specifically look at Cognar. Do not move.
What is...
All right, Gorneo, as you start to make your way into the room, go ahead and roll me a con save.
Oh, no.
As you start stepping into this room, the toxic fumes that seem to have just welled up here.
Oh, no.
You go to hold your breath, but it is too late. As Gorneo, the poisonous fumes surround your form, but you're only going to take 6 points of poison damage.
Ouch.
You can still feel this substance all around you. To the north of the room...
That looks like it's something that descends down into a pit of hell.
You can see that intense heat and light radiates up from the bottom of this smooth-sided shaft, and the crackle of flames is easily discernible from below. What looks to be a chain ladder is coiled up near the hole, at one end attached up to the dome. So effectively like a kick-down ladder. But it's a pit into happy fun times from the looks of it.
Well, I'm going to step back out of the room.
All right.
Oh, okay, I see it. So that radius of the dark there is where the poison is. Okay. Well, Gordoneo's going to call up the magic experts then. He's going to say, okay, come on up. There's something I can't deal with.
Like Jenga or like?
No, like very calmly.
Okay.
Like, it's all clear, come on up.
Okay, he wants us to follow now. So, after you, I'm not fond of ladders and things at the thing falling down an elevator twice.
Have Semos come up first.
Enough. He says you first.
All right then. By the way, DM, that crystal that I cut out the guy's eye, the group told me what it did. Do you remember roughly what it did?
Which was this? Which eye?
It's like a crystal that kind of looked like...
it was that guy's arcane focus, if I remember correctly.
That, yes.
Because depending what they told me it did at the beginning of this, I'm going to stick it in my arm.
So I had to run and go get dinner. What did Nick find when he went up the ladder?
Poison gas and like colorful lights and skulls and stuff.
Basically,
like
all we know is he told us to stay still. We all stayed still, and now he's like, okay, you guys need to come and join me. And he said, Simos first. So that's where we're at. For all we know, he found the one-eyed people monster again.
Still, and I didn't make a wiki page for it, but effectively the Eye of Frost projects an aura of cold mist within 10 feet of yourself, and any time that you deal damage to a creature in that area with a melee attack, the creature also takes 1d10 cold damage.
Dude!
And you're able to cast Ray of Frost from this arcane source, and if it hits, the target's also restrained. And a target restrained in this way can end the condition by using an action to succeed on a DC 13 strength check.
Dude!
I'll add that in to the wiki now.
That is a cool item.
Sounds like somebody likes it.
And if this isn't
Hey,
Give it to Corneo.
if you haven't noticed, my guy kind of is the frosty one around here.
Yeah,
You could have a Drake eye and Frost eye.
And
it has to be-
It's a silver drake. So
It's not just a focus. I have to stick it in my body.
Yes, this focus is used by implanting it upon your person.
I don't need another implant. No, the restraint thing is really cool for him, though. That's really dope. That's good control.
I
like
take it and jab it into my chest.
All right.
So this begs the question: what is it that Ryan has with like permanent mutilation?
You guys spot the guy with the
Enhancement,
he jabbed.
enhancement.
This isn't Ryan forcing Simos to jab this in himself. You guys are doing this voluntarily. At least 2 of you went under surgery for it.
I mean,
Self-inflicted.
worth it, in my opinion.
Mainly because our DM didn't give us any other way to acquire it.
There were ways. There was a quicker access through the surgery. But there were other ways. So fill Ben in on what he missed.
Does nobody else hear Amanda? Because she already told me. And people keep ignoring her.
I'm just used to it.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Ryan always ignores me, guys. It's okay.
Does it like fuse with me whenever I try to tune to it through the short rest? All right. Now I'll start climbing up the ladder to go see Corneo after the short rest. Did I take any damage for jabbing myself?
Roll me a d4, please. Adding your
17 D5.
Ragnar
Adding
attaches
my
his,
strength modifier?
adding your strength modifier if it's positive.
Cognar attaches his chain of returning to his shield of returning, so the next time Gorneo catches it, it does not leave.
All right.
It
And
was one time.
while you're here, we rolled half of your hit dice. If you wanted to roll more, now is the time.
I got you 50 HP back.
Well, it sounds like we're going to go hit a profit right now, so yeah, I'll throw some more down.
Yeah, I rolled almost all of mine. But I rolled max on like 5 of them. It was dope.
Awesome.
No. I still have 2 left.
See, I've got 40-12.
And before Semos enters gas, I'll just hold an invisible arm out so he doesn't go into it.
All right.
So I walk into a hand out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Walk into a
Corneo.
solid invisible force.
and Gorneo will just say, "Careful, there's a kind of poisonous gas in the room." I wanted you to take a look at it.
Ooh, I feel
Do
better
you
now.
think it's
Triple digits.
magical gas?
Uh, it's definitely not natural. Or it could be. I don't know.
I'm gonna start looking for traps while I start going ahead. Trying to stealth
Alright.
and trying to figure out what this is if it's arcane.
Alright, so move where you would like to, then roll me a stealth to see how sneakily you got to there. And then roll me a con save. And then roll me an investigation check.
Is it poison damage?
It is poison damage.
I'm immune to poison damage.
All right.
Cast Cure Wounds on myself as well.
So Gorneo, you watch as Simo steps in, and you can almost sense just the slightest burning across his form as other particles that are not composed of Simo start to just wither in this toxic fumes. But he seems to be having no trouble himself walking through here. Simos, move yourself where you'd like to go, then roll me a strength or a stealth check, and then an investigation check.
Do I see these lights?
Yes, these skulls are, a number of them are on different colors of glowing fire. That's what the...
I'm going to go to this one first.
All right.
You want me to roll Arcana because I'm looking if it's arcane as well?
You already grabbed her dagger, right?
Yeah, she picked up the dagger. Simos, as you're going, kind of easing your way along the side of this room, checking the walls and inspecting for any sort of arcane sigils or insignia of any kind. Instead, you find tucked behind one of the skulls what looks to be the jutting outskirt of some sort of lever or switch.
Garneo, I have my back to you so you don't see me start grinning ear to ear as I start walking through to the left. I'll go to the next one and see if there's another one. If not, I'm going to pull the left.
All right. The one immediately next to it does not look to have any lever behind it.
I pulled the left.
All right. Gorneo, the chamber you are looking into, watching Simo slowly circle around the rows upon rows of skulls, gives an audible chunk, 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 chunk. And Simo, the lever that you pulled shoots back about halfway up into place.
Besides a bunch of noise, nothing changed?
Like a blown fuse, like the lever went... You pulled it all the way it was intended to go, and then it made some sounds, and then it bounced back.
What did you do?
I'm going to see if I can find a lever on this one.
All right, roll me an investigation check. Simos, you're surveying the walls, looking for what you believe to be of a nature that you've already seen as you come across a second one of these levers.
I pull that mother.
You pull this lever, and with a chunk, 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 chunk. And once again, like the lever you pulled previously, it kind of bounces back to about halfway.
I moved over here and see if I can find one.
Roll me one more investigation check. As you kind of feel behind these skulls around the rest of the way, counterclockwise over this room, you don't find any more levers.
I walk over here. Anything interesting about that?
You can see what looks to be intense heat and light radiating up from the bottom of this smooth-sided shaft, and the crackle of flames is easily discernible from below. A chain ladder is coiled up near the hole, one end attached to the wall that you are currently looking over. Effectively the ground for you.
Does the noise come from this direction or just everywhere in this room?
Like, there's the audible bubbling, flowing of not quite water. It sounds significantly too thick for that, probably coming from the magma outside, but the intense cackling, the snapping and breaking sounds that are coming from what can only be perceived to be flame and fire is coming from below.
The thing in the middle, is that glowing? Or
That's effectively how we have the radius thing.
okay. I'll just look to Gorneo, and I'll just give him the and I'll start heading down the ladder.
Wait, Semos, what about the gas?
Since you start talking out loud, I'll whisper back. I pulled the levers. I don't know what's up with the gas.
What did the levers do?
I don't know. You heard it.
So, don't you want to wait for everyone else before you just go down to a pit of fire?
But tell everybody to get over here already, and I will start going down the
We
ladder.
can't walk through the gas, Semos.
So, Gorneo,
Hurry up.
as you're shouting this
Yushi,
out,
get everyone
Zemos
up here quick.
kicks down this ladder down the hole and starts to climb down. Meanwhile, Mushi, Grubender, Rory, and Cognar remain down below in Leoman's
I thought
tiny
we were all
hut.
kind of following behind slowly, but no, that's cool. I was gonna go
Whenever
last.
Corneo tells you to kick it into high gear.
As soon as you're saying that's what we were doing,
If they need
so you say so it was, as the party followed along, keeping a safe distance, before feeling an invisible palm pressed upon their chest, slowing down their pace.
Gorneo will say, Semos just went down the pit. Hold your breath. There's poison gas in the room. I'm gonna take a deep breath and hold my breath and run across the room.
All right, the party watches as Gorneo turns back towards you, takes a deep breath, steps
Well-
into the room.
But yeah.
So, you guys can hear it all. With that Dolby 3.0 surround sound. But Gorneo takes a deep breath before making his way into the room. Where are you headed to, Gorneo?
I'm just gonna go straight across the pit.
All right. Gorneo walks his way north towards where he last saw Semos. Gorneo, can I get a concentration or a constitution save from you, please? As you still feel the burns about your form, you are going to take 8 points of poison damage.
Ouch. Okay, but I made it across. Semos is just climbing down this thing.
Semos is climbing down this thing.
Is it like? Can I put like my hand over it?
What do you
Like
mean?
how hot is like the air coming out of this
It's
thing?
noticeably hotter.
Oh god. I guess I can't let him go down there alone. God damn it. I'll climb down after him.
All right.
But I'm out of movement, so I'll use my bonus action to dash to do that.
All
So
right.
they said that Semos climbed down a hole, and Semos is already down the hole, and Gorneo's invisible. From over
Yep.
here, can I tell which side is the hole?
I mean, there's noticeably like a pit on one
Okay.
side of the room,
Just
and
making
what's
sure.
noticeably an exit to this chamber on the other.
Okay, well then, like I guess we're going that way. And I mean, I'll give it like a few seconds, and then I'm gonna run towards the hole too.
All right.
So
So Mushi, go ahead and give me a con save. Mushi, as you can feel this burning sensation all about your form, you're able to push past most of it and focus upon this pit, knowing that your allies could be depending on you. And you're going to take what would be 11 is half to 5 points of poison damage.
okay.
For Bender, Rory, and Cognar, what do you
Following,
do?
taking a deep breath and
I
following.
guess we're
back.
following.
All right, can I get con saves from everybody else? Rory, Grubender, and Cognar. All right, so both of you are going to take 13 points of poison damage. And Lucas here again. Okay, Nick, can I get a con save from Cognar? Thank you, sir.
As I'm running,
with advantage against poison because he's a dwarf, boosts it to 20. He's going to beat the DC, having the damage, but because of the dwarven resistance, quartering the damage. So from 13 down to 6, with the pass down to 3 points of poison damage to Cognar. What was that, Amanda?
as I'm running through, can I do a check to see if I would understand if this is magical gas or if it's natural or?
Roll me a nature check.
That's probably going to be better than my Arcana check would be. Haha.
Mushi, you're familiar with volcanic levels of heat and temperatures and surroundings. Probably something you might have picked up from one of the cultist books at the Scarlet Moon Hall from that stockpile you guys raided, but something is just kind of just triggering your memories about that. And this effectively, because this room that you're currently in domes up at this incline, everything seems to be wafting up to here. All the heaviest of gases that are leaving from the magma are basically pooling up here. So this is natural, but it is definitely toxic. You don't want to be sticking around for it.
And I'm going to keep going forward as fast as I can.
Basically, I just have you guys in more or less like a march.
Yeah, that's fine.
And can I get a con save from everybody because of this extreme temperature? If you have resistance or immunity to fire damage, then you automatically succeed on this check. And if you're wearing medium or heavy armor, you're making this check with disadvantage.
So I have resistance, so I immediately succeed, but I'm at disadvantage.
You immediately succeed.
Okay. So
Corneo has resistance. Mushi has resistance. Rory does not have resistance, but isn't wearing heavy armor. Rory, you pass this save. Gravender has resistance. Cognar, 12. Cognar passes this save. And with that, following Simos down this ladder, Simos, you were the first to come across this rough circular cavern. Stand by.
Oh, I do not like the looks of this.
Like it when you're dead.
I like the looks of it. Looks pretty cool.
And this rough circular cave is painfully hot. A curved wall of fire stretches from floor to ceiling and leaves only 5 feet between it and the surrounding walls. But every so often, between the flickering of this wall of fire, you can see what looks to be a number of humanoids trapped within. Simos, as you come down to the base of this ladder, you can sense the just sheer heat that is radiating off of this thing.
I put my hand forward. Does it get too hot for me to touch the flames? Is it supernatural flames, or am I still cool?
Simos, as you're putting your hand forward, the robes around your arm just start burning off with a sci-fi laser just ripping right through it as if it weren't even there to begin with. It is a very intense heat.
I'll stop once it gets to my elbow. I'll look up and I'll look at these people. Have they noticed that we're coming down?
Their faces do seem to be turned towards the movement.
Okay. I'll just speak out. Who are you people?
And you see them straining and cupping their ears, but it doesn't seem like they're able to hear you.
And I see them.
You can see them.
Does the purple elf seem probably most likely the magical one, if there was anybody that had magic there?
I mean, you can certainly presume so.
Alright. I'll use a message to talk to her.
All
This is
right.
her, right? The picture looks like
It is
her.
a her.
And I'll say, who are you people, and why are you trapped here?
And she looks around very confused for a brief moment before her eyes lock with you, and there's a nod of understanding. And she says, "My name is Teresio, and I've come a great distance to only be captured by these cultists. Please, you have to help me. I was on a bit of an escort mission to begin with," and then the message spell is just cut off. As she is clearly pushing the limits on it.
As I wait for... Do we have enough room for everybody to come down without getting burnt to death?
It does not look like it. You could probably fit 4 people total down here.
Gorneo will say, "Stop!
About this time, roughly, Gorneo has plopped down at the bottom of this ladder.
Gorneo.
As you descend down this ladder, the intense heat gets to you quicker than Simos' own words, as you take 24 points of fire damage, halved to 12 because of your fire resistance.
I get the fuck back up in that ladder.
All right. Mushi, Gorneo is more or less clawing at your feet trying to get back up this ladder.
Is the
Visible
corridor
monster.
is the corridor where like that descends down dark?
Like the down to where Simos is, down the ladder?
Yeah, down the ladder. Is that like
It looks to be
dark?
fairly just outside of the view of the fire. It is dark within this kind of ladder.
Okay,
shaft.
so I would be able to bamf back up then, and that way I can avoid
You can try to bamf past Cognar, but you can't make it all the way up just because the room above with the toxic fumes, there are a number of fires on the skulls.
That's
that are
okay.
breaking.
I can clamber up over Cognar.
Clambering up over Cognar.
Yeah, but like because I can still stand like near the edge of the circle and not be like into fumes, right?
Right.
If everyone else is like down on the ladder.
Actually, no. As you get up to the top of the ladder, you can feel the fumes starting to just boil your skin in a very different fashion.
Well, that's not fun.
So can I get a con save from Gorneo?
Yeah. Fuck.
We're not
So
going to find
that
out we're going to die.
It's going to be 10 points of poison damage coming to Gorneo.
Oh, man, I am just taking a butt whooping.
But anything you want to do once you get to effectively to the top of the ladder.
So the fumes are starting to come down the ladder?
The fumes seem to be pooling up. Lighter than air, so they're all pooling up in this kind of domed room, but the dome itself extends beyond the entrance of the room, so the fumes are all over this space.
So can I like lay prone, like with my head down towards the tunnel so I could like breathe?
You can try, and we'll see what happens.
Sure, I'm going to try that because I don't know. I just want to let those guys
All
get
right.
down there.
Gorneo is lying prone up towards the top of, up towards where he believes will be a safe space. Mushi, you come down to the base of this ladder, and the sheer heat is quick to wash over yourself, Rory, Grubender, and Cognar as he comes up effectively into range, but still the only one still on the ladder. And Mushi and Grubender are both going to take 7 points of fire damage. Rory and Cognar are both going to take 14.
How much?
7 points of fire damage to you.
So we're just going to continue taking damage as long as we stand down there?
Presumably, yes. Unless something can be done about the intense temperature.
I can't put out flame. I can
put out a small flame. That's it.
I mean, it doesn't, like, we can't see any other exits or entrances into this room, no?
I mean, not that you were aware of. It looks to be a circular
It's like a lot of
cavern.
fire.
Only way in or out is what you guys just climbed down. And those of you who saw it noticed that Simos had to kick down the ladder as it was pulled up.
Okay, well, look through my things, don't see anything. I am going to start climbing back up the ladder, because I can't do anything here.
I'm going to
I don't
try to
wanna die
dispel
from heat.
magic on the fire.
All right. And Bender, what level are you casting that at?
3rd.
All right. Can I get a wisdom check from you, sir?
Come on, beast this.
I cast guidance. Add a d4.
All right.
Fuck yeah, Coconut.
Wisdom check, not save.
Wisdom check, not saving.
And then 1d4. Nineteen.
Pretty good.
19. Gerbender, as you focus upon the intense heat about this room, closing your eyes, you envision the circle that is just burning into you one more time than you wanted to be burned today. And focusing yourself upon it, you sense its heat vanish in a moment.
Fuck yeah.
And everybody else in this room looks visibly relieved.
I thank Bahamut.
Gobinder, you know these people.
No, but I couldn't stand those flames.
So the 4 people that look to effectively spill out as they are taking every opportunity to effectively just move away from the tightly enclosed space where they were forced to be previously. 2 of them look to be fairly well off, and they're these silks, judging by these silks that they are adorned with. Another one of them looks to be garbed with fish netting of some degree, and the 4th one looks to be an elf of some variety, familiar to some of you, as she traveled through Fandalen with the delegation from
I
Mirabar.
thought she looked familiar.
I draw my weapon and point it at the fishnet lady. And I say, you are a member of the water cult. Tell us, what are you doing here?
Well, it seems I got offered up for sacrifice. Seems you folk had them running in and rushing about, pushing their plans forward, and they needed bodies. Well, I suppose I didn't make their cut. I'm not in the water cult anymore. To hell with them and all their bastards.
Then tell us, what is going on here? What plans, what sacrifices?
Does it look like I'm one to be in charge of my own imprisonment? As far as I know, they kept going on and on about some sort of sacrifice that was being offered. And all the leaders and all the higher-ups started to get into all sorts of fusses and frantically scurrying about. I asked too many questions, and for that they threw me in here. With them.
I look at the rest of them and say, and who are you?
So the man takes a slight curtsy of his own, and he says, greetings, adventurers. We thank you for what you've done. My name is Carlos, and this is my wife, Charlie. As I said, you have our thanks, but if you're able to bring us back to a town or a village, we would be most grateful, and we could pay you for your services.
If we succeed in our mission, you will return safely. But that is not our quest at this time.
Right, but do you know how long you're going to take? Because I'd rather get out of here sooner than later.
If you wish to risk traveling back through the cultist stronghold by yourself, well, be it upon your head.
I did say I was willing to compensate. At a more than reasonable rate, I assure you.
I'm going to step up in front of him and give him a very intimidating sort of look.
All right. Go ahead and roll me an intimidation check.
Nice.
We are here trying to save this valley. We will do our best to save you as well. Now, do what we tell you, and perhaps you'll survive longer.
His demeanor noticeably shifts and drops from a joyful rescuee to kind of realizing the whole weight and gravity of what's going on. Like, for the first time in his life, he's getting a sense of something other than himself as he kind of takes a few steps back, cowering behind Jarly. Very well. As you said, it could take some time. That's no worries.
Now, I believe I've seen you before. Did you travel through Fandalen?
Yes, you. You were there at the inn. We shared a drink or two. Garbinger, was it?
So you
Pleased
were
to see your face again.
You were with the delegation from Mirbar then?
I was when we were attacked. We were heading south along the road, and we were ambushed by what must have been dozens of bugbears. And just as soon as we started to run them off with our forces, a number of these cultists showed up and overwhelmed what few of us still stood standing from the bugbears' assault. I know not what became of the others, but I saw for sure that our leader had fallen from the bugbear's onslaught.
Unfortunately, many of your companions have fallen. It must have been as much as a month now. Possibly more since you were attacked. I'm surprised you have survived this long. Did you, in your captivity, pick up any clues to what they were doing, why they had taken you?
So far as we could tell, we only supposed it was for some sort of sport. We supposed a ransom of some kind, but no demands were ever sent. Better go ahead and roll me an insight check, if you will.
I like inciting. But it doesn't like me all the time. That's a +7.
+7. They were quick to keep us in chains, and shortly after we were bound, we were separated. Not too much word has traveled this far at the surface, I'm afraid. Their ultimate goals and plans, I know not. She might be of better assistance than I in that matter. And she gestures over towards the woman garbed in fishnets.
We have some inkling of their plans, which is why we are here. It is not worth going into detail at this time. I don't suppose any of you are in condition to fight.
And a kind of a brief survey of the room reveals that these guys are not very fighting fit. They look to have been stripped of any weapons or spell components or the like they might have had at any point. And what they wear looks to be all that they have left.
I haven't made it that far up the ladder, no.
You are still down on the ground. Because
Okay,
Gravender turned out the fire.
I would
We
just
probably
like to-
have some rations that we can share. I'm sure they haven't fed you well.
If it wouldn't be too much trouble, we would appreciate it.
And when they brought you to this room, how did you make it through that gas chamber without suffocating yourself?
I'm afraid I was unconscious for most of my journey. When I awoke, I was here, surrounded by flames. If you say it's been a month, I can only take your word for it. I've lost sight of the sun. It's been so long.
I do not know the exact count of days, but it has been many. We have been about in this land for some 10 days now. If my other companion were here, I'm sure he could give you an exact count. He's good like that.
I missed jokes. Thank you.
And I'm going to start digging through my pack and finding any rations I can give them.
All right.
The elven lady, like, physical health, like hit point wise, does she look okay?
I mean, she looks to be kind of roughed up, but effectively more like she's had some time to rest off those wounds. So hit point wise, she looks fine.
I'll look at her. Do you do magic?
It's been a while, but yes, I was a druid.
What he really means is I check her out.
If I give you a focus, will you fight alongside of us and fight against the fire cult?
I'm afraid my path will take me elsewhere. I still have a message to deliver on behalf of the delegation.
What message is that?
It's of a private nature.
Well, could you at least tell us where you're going? Maybe we could help escort you if you help us.
My destination lies in the town of Golden Fields.
I
think she
Regret
sees
to
all of our
inform you
faces
that-
go grim.
Yeah. Golden Fields has been
More.
nearly destroyed by this fire cult.
Mushi, roll me an insight check.
Can I roll another one?
Rubender, go ahead.
Woo! Let's get Commander. Not anymore.
Rubender, as her attention was focused on Mushi's words, there was a brief moment where you guys mentioned the kind of destruction of Golden Fields. Hand hovered over what looks to be a small bump hidden just beneath the lip of her trousers. For just a brief moment.
I didn't see it.
You did not.
And I'm too much a gentleman to ask a lady what's in her pants.
Those lumps.
Those lovely lady humps.
Yeah, she
Anyway.
has fallen silent since the news of Golden Fields.
We have been to the Golden Fields since its near destruction. Who was it you were to give this message to?
There were a number of men in the clergy. Do you know
Yes.
how Golden Fields was destroyed?
We do not know exactly, but from what we gathered, there was a traveling group of what we now must believe are cultists. They performed some kind of ritual, and great fire and flames engulfed the area around Golden Fields. But the church there, it's still, well, it was damaged, but the men of the cloth, some survived. In fact, they were able to revive our friend. And he got nods to Cogdar. All is not lost.
Then you find yourselves here now fighting against them. The very ones who felled Golden Fields?
Yes.
We don't know if it is specifically those cultists, but certainly it is the people they serve.
Perhaps you could offer me a prayer then. You're a holy man of the Platinum Dragon,
I am.
Bahamut? For I am torn. For it seems that perhaps now more than ever my messages must reach its destination in Golden Fields. However, my assistance could be provided here with you all. And at the cost of my message, it could potentially help you onwards in your fight against these cultists. Why don't you say a prayer and beseech your divinity's guidance on what I should do?
I will be happy to.
And Rebender, effectively, she's asking if you would roll either a persuasion or a religion check. Your choice.
And see here, I thought she was going to want me to do an augury or something for her.
That's what I thought.
Did she say who she was trying to deliver the message to?
The Holy Men at Golden Fields.
Those are specifics.
That guy.
Persuasion or religion? I'll go with persuasion.
All right.
So +6.
Oh.
How about a natural 20?
If you would like to describe your prayer for us.
Basically, I just kind of take a knee, pull out the pendant I have, and that is the Bahamut's crest, hold it out in front of me, and just pray for his wisdom and guidance to guide all of us in the decisions we need to make and the path we need to take.
And as your words are finding her ears, you see the slightest sliver of a smile start to crest over her lips. And she looks deeply into your eyes, Gerbender, and with palming your own hands, closing them around her own, she slips you something, a small leather pouch. And as she's slipping it to you, she speaks to you in Elven. And she, and anyone in this room now who can understand Elven, hears her.
I can understand Elven now.
Hears her tell her that perhaps these will be helpful in any coming fight. They have a number of effects, but simply plant them into fertile earth, and a number of allies will rise to fight beside you. But if you don't find the need for them, please make sure they find their way to Golden Fields. For if these seeds are sowed, they can enrich the surrounding landscape and all plant life within 10 miles of the seed can be recultivated.
And my best Elven, and quietly, I'm going to kind of whisper to her, "Great is the friend who finds you in time of need. Great is the help offered in thanksgiving."
She bows her head, and effectively, that is what you've got. So, Bishi, Rory, Cognar, Reneo, you guys doing anything as this is going on?
Am I still sucking poison gas?
If you're still going to be in that room, then yes, sir. Can I get a con save from you?
Even with him laying
so
on the ground?
In that case,
Even laying on the ground.
Alright, so goddamn it, I'm gonna take poison again. I'm gonna try to pull both those levers at the same time. Oh, hey, I passed my save that time.
Passed your save, so that's only going to be 5 points of poison damage to you, sir.
Only. God, you've done 30 points to damage to me.
Well, you know, just wish you knew the fire was out.
Yeah, don't. Wouldn't it be nice if I knew that?
All right.
But so I'm going to stand up, rush over to one of these levers.
The left or the right one?
We'll start on the left. I'm going to. Is it dim light in the room?
It is bright light in this room because
Okay.
a number of the skulls around the walls are aflame.
Is Cognar
Okay.
on the ladder?
So I'll pull the.
Cognar, you are on the
I'll
I'm
pull
gonna
the
go.
lever, and then I'll dash across with my bonus, and I'll use my action to pull the other lever.
All right. Yanking down on the first lever, Gorneo sprints across the way with a chung 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 chung. He's just sprinting, and he pulls the second lever, chung 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 chung, and a small hole in the ceiling opens up and vents these toxic fumes up into the ceiling. As Cognar is cresting the top of this ladder, Gorneo, ever so faintly, just from holding your palm upon this lever, you can still feel the chung 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 chung, like something is counting still.
Like something is what?
Counting.
Counting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not gonna last forever.
Cognar, as you're looking out over the exit of this room, you can see that this tunnel looks to open up above a pool of lava, the surface of which is 30 feet below, and a metal catwalk suspended 10 feet from the ceiling by iron chains connects to another tunnel on the far side, as well as to a stone column rising up from the magma. The catwalk passes through a hole in the column, and then the lava below, serpentine creatures look to glide and splash about. To the south,
Fine down there.
the lava cascades into the pool before the current continues down a channel to the north.
Yes, Corneo.
What did you find down there?
4 people. Ring of fire. They did some talking about golden fields and some such.
Everything okay?
Seems like it.
Okay. The gas isn't going to stay gone forever, so we need to move quickly.
By the way, there's creatures in the lava.
Lovely.
So, it's not as hot down there now, so if you want to go down and talk to them, you can. I say we continue on. I think we have something to do down here.
Gorneo will get on the earring and he'll say, Mushi, let's get a move on.
I will look to Gabender and Rory and say we must go now. And I'll begin my way up the ladder.
Okay.
And I go-
Can I do? Rory will have used that time to like do an investigation to see if there are any alarms or traps or anywhere in the room as a result.
right.
Of this.
Rory, go ahead and roll me an investigation check, please. All right. Rory, a brief survey of the room isn't putting off any of your rogue senses. You don't see any wires, devices, or any sort of rooms that might have indicated like an alarm of any kind.
Ooh, she'll head back up the ladder after mission.
All right.
So, Cognar, are we going across here or are we backtracing the other way?
Was there another path the other way?
Well, we didn't peek around the very last corner.
If I come up here, do I see creatures in the lava as well?
Mushi, if you step out further, then you will see them. But Rory's following Mushi. Rebender, if you're heading for the ladder, you feel a soft press of a palm upon your shoulder. as Teresiel's asking you what you would like them to do.
I don't believe you should stay here. But the room above certainly is not safe. I would suggest you search for a place to hide. Anywhere out of the way.
Could you take us somewhere you've already cleaned out? As I said, I was unconscious for most of my trip here, and I don't know which way is in and which way is out.
We can. I do not know. Well, yes, follow me.
And she starts following Grubender up the ladder, followed by the other prisoners.
And so I tell them I'm going to show them back to the shelf where we were camped.
Grubender, you get to right about here as Teresiel's arm starts to climb up over the tip of the ladder. A number of these fiery skulls leap forth from the wall with a cackle. Can I get everybody to roll me initiative?
What the other lever was.
Oh, man.
Cordeo set out the fire skulls.
What? No, I opened the vent.
Releasing the prisoners set off the fire skulls.
Figures.
We
I
faced
don't know
these
why
guys
my
before.
initiative is always whispered, but, you know, I'm just done with it now.
It's a secret. Don't tell
That's the
anyone.
way the little macro he set up does it.
At least I got rid of the fucking poison gas.
Yeah.
Did
Or
Cognar
now.
take any poison damage from that?
Because the wizard couldn't take care of
Like
it.
5 points.
Cognar,
That's
as you
the
were-
fucking
yeah.
poison.
Okay, because Cognar
Cognar,
has
as you were
advantage
coming
and is
up-
resistant.
You got all that.
Okay, cool.
And as you were coming up the second time, it was as the fumes were being chimneyed out by
Sweet.
Grenado.
Has Cognar faced one of these flaming skulls before? I don't think he has. That was Lothar.
I was back when I was a plant and a sheep in the same fight.
Simos, what do you do?
I thought it was even wrong. I thought I was under Pandalen.
I walk up to this guy with my cool new misty forms around.
There's misty forms around you?
Yeah, I'm real cold now.
Oh,
I'm so
oh yeah, because you
confused.
stabbed yourself with an eyeball.
Does that hit?
15 is going to make contact.
6 points of cold damage.
11. -6 damage. As you sense the frigid air course over the palm of your hand as you are shocking the ever-living hell out of this flaming skull, the cold damage doesn't seem to get through to the other side or have any effect upon its burning skull.
Interesting. And that'll be my turn.
All right. Mushi.
Well, I assume I noticed these flaming skulls coming out of the wall.
You absolutely do. If you didn't spot them specifically, perhaps that as now radiating into this chamber might give
Okay,
them away.
I'm going to target towards that one. And I am going to ray of frost it.
Which one is that?
That was this one over here.
That one. Okay.
This one.
As you launch this bolt of frigid energy, it soars right over the top of this flame skull before shattering upon the wall of skulls behind it.
Definitely caught off guard.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Anything else? Cognar.
All right, Cognar is gonna throw his dwarven thrower At the
All right.
one next to Rory.
Next to Rory.
Twice, since it just bamps back.
Yes, sir. It just it launches itself right back, just like Thor's hammer.
Oh, shit.
It just bang.
That's a natural 20.
Yeah, definitely an
That's
Aegis thing.
surprisingly going to hit.
All right. So I get an additional 1d8 for range, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's 2d8, 4d8, plus... Oh, I got a new modifier now. What's my plus? Oh,
While you were
Plus
adding that
your
up,
plus 6.
real quick, Simos, also as your palm released the lightning across its form, it seemed to have a reduced effect on the fiery skull. It is resistant.
32 points of damage.
32 points of damage. And that is bludgeoning.
Magical bludgeoning.
All right. Not like radiant damage or anything like that sprinkled in there?
No, I can't do that.
I mean, like from the hammer or something.
You tell me. No, I don't think. I don't think it does any radiant
It's your
damage.
item!
It's your item. No, I don't believe it does.
No. Okay.
All right, so that was the first. And
That's the
then
first
second.
one is going to
I think he's trying to give you a hint there, Cognar.
I'll have to relook at the item.
No, he's just genuinely asking.
15 on the second.
15 is going to hit.
All right, 2d8 plus 6. 17 points of damage.
17 points of damage. Cognar, as your second throw from this hammer blasts right into the skull as it's mid, just blasting it into a shower of pieces as it fractures all over Gravender and Teresial, raining down.
Awesome. And then I'm going to go ahead and move in front of Rory.
All right,
And that'll be my turn.
Gravender.
Muted.
Sorry, I was saying Grabender's going to quickly draw his sword, step up to the closest one, and bash it in its stupid skull.
Swing away, George.
Yeah, Dwarven Throw is just magical bludgeoning. That's all it is.
Swinging with the blade, it just swoops right up and takes a large circle around your swing. Continues this annoying cackling.
Okay, fine. In that case, that's pretty much all I got right now.
All right.
Stupid skull.
So this one opens up its mouth, and as it does so, a pair of flames shoot out from its mouth, arcing over the room, one headed towards Cognar, the other coming towards Rory. This is going to be a 16 to hit Cognar, a 21 to hit Rory.
Mrs. Cognar.
All right.
It's Roy.
Rory, that is going to be 15 points of fire damage as it makes impact with you. But as it cackles, it starts to hover its way over to here. Tornado. You still hear that ching, 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 ching in your palm.
I'll count on my passive perception to keep track of that. Boop, boop. I'm going to get around this one and stab the shit out of it.
All right.
26 to hit.
26 is gonna hit.
So if he doesn't take anything from cold, it's 13 damage.
13 points of damage. Nice. As you
And-
plunge the blade forward, chipping and cracking a portion of its head as you make impact.
It's still alive. I'm going to hit
Still
it
alive.
again.
Swinging again for 8 points of damage.
It's still alive.
Still alive.
Swing again. 21.
21 is going to hit for 10 points of bludgeoning damage. As you swing with your fist, it seems to have a slightly more forceful impact than your blade did.
Noted. That is the. How close am I to that one? So, can I step back here? Yes. Cool. Okay, that's where I want to be.
All right. The one that you just attacked, making yourself visible in the process, turns around towards you, opening its mouth, and a pair of flames shoot out. This is going to be a 13 followed by a 23 to hit.
23 hits.
So, as two rays of fire come swarming out of its mouth.
Doesn't he get... Hey, he gets disadvantage because he's in melee range, right?
This is a... What is it? A melee or ranged attack.
Oh, okay.
That's it. And that is going to be a 9 points of fire damage, halved to 4 because of your sword's resistance. On the one that makes it. The one hovering in front of Grabender, whom he just took a swing at, is opening his mouth. Same thing. A pair of flames coming towards Grabender with an 18 followed by a 17 to hit.
Both miss.
As these flames just wash over Grabender's form. Rory, what would you like to do?
Rory is going to fire her short bow at this guy, Sentinel at that guy.
Right.
And I'm within 5 feet, so you get sneak attack.
So that is going to be a hit. And as your arrow launches through the flames of its own form, it goes in through the skull before the arrow itself kind of splinters upon impact, but in doing so sends a series of chips and marks all throughout the inside of the skull. Very similar to with Gorneo's short sword, it doesn't seem to be as effective as Gorneo's own closed fist, the butt end of its blade. Bludgeoning damage did. But it does still look to do some damage. Anything else?
That's my
And she did get her sneak attack on that.
Yes.
Cool.
Simos.
I'll try to shock this thing again.
Reaching your palm forward, placing it through the flames, you focus yourself upon this thing before you, and it surges, recoils as the lightning sparks out through the inside of it, though not as effectively as you're hoping, and it once again doesn't seem to be freezing, despite the noticeable pulse from the crystal now lodged in your chest. Anything else you would like to do?
I'll just say to everyone, whenever I do this, they can't take reactions, by the way. Just reminding everybody in the party.
Good.
And that's my turn.
All right. Mushi.
Well, I am going to aim for this one more time.
All right.
Focusing harder than I did last time.
You launch another ray of frost across the way, and it hits directly where you were aiming. As it showers across the side of this flaming skull's face, the cold just washes off, dripping down on the inside and just sizzling off completely, having no visible effect on its form. Anything else you would like to do?
That's what I got for right now.
Cognar.
Be careful.
Okay, Cognar is going to go ahead and throw 2 hammers at the one south of Gorneo.
All right. This guy?
Yeah.
Yep.
And at about this point, Grabender's going to call out, or not scream, but just say, "They're undead. Radiant damage is the best."
How about another natural 20?
Yeah, that's also the best.
Also, the second attack, since I just went ahead and rolled it, is that's plus 10, 23.
That's going to hit.
All right, so the natural 20 is 2d8 and a plus an additional, 48 plus 2d8. So 68 plus 12.
Nice.
47 points of damage.
47 points of damage. Cognar, the first throw of your hammer makes a noticeable impact and fractures a portion of its cheekbone. The second throw explodes it all around Gorneo.
I feel better. That's my turn.
Revender. Cognar, you've successfully stolen a kill from Gorneo.
Finally.
I'm going to take another
All
swing
it
at it.
took was a +3 magical weapon.
All right.
That's 2 crits with my +3 magical weapon. Thank you very much.
That's better.
That is going to hit for 11 points of slashing damage and 5 radiant. As your blade lets out a pleasant hum as it swings and slices through, fracturing a number of its teeth that chip away on impact. The radiant damage doesn't look to have any additional extra force behind it, but it is still making a significant impact.
But it wasn't resisted.
Wasn't resisted, no.
Unlike those silly arrows and daggers.
Hammer's working pretty well.
Anything
though.
else you would like to do, sir?
No, I'm just going to keep this one occupied.
All right, Gorneo.
I'm going to sheathe my sword and unleash a flurry of blows.
4 punches.
The one on your right or the one on... Yeah, the one on your right.
I killed the other
Yeah,
one.
He's
I
already
will,
got.
I will take a step to flank and
Blap, 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 blap.
punch. Is it rolling for you guys?
It's really slow, if it is rolling.
I'll wait, because I've clicked it twice. If not, I'm just going to roll dice.
I blame Amanda.
I'm just going to roll dice.
Blame me.
Damn it, Amanda.
Let me grab a die.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, so 24,
Not on mine.
26.
Nice.
See, now he's cheating.
So 24 is going to hit. The 26 is going to hit.
8 damage and 6 damage, bludgeoning, respectively.
You destroy it with the first punch.
Oh.
Sending a shower of its skull bones across Simos.
And then I will shout out, the vent's not going to stay open long. We need to get out of this room. How much movement do I have left? Oh, yeah, I can clear that.
All of it.
All right. So I will clear the distance and second punch against that thing then. So
All
26 against that.
26 is
bludgeoning.
going to hit. 6 bludgeoning.
And bonus action, punch again. I don't get advantage that time, so that's a natural 1.
That is not going to do it. If you would, please roll me another attack to see if you hit Grabender.
What do you mean natural 1 doesn't hit?
12.
Grabender does a 12 hit.
No.
As Gorneo, you're charging up, swinging your fist wide, shouting over your shoulder to the party. As Grabender feels an impact on his shoulder as Gorneo's aim was slightly off of its intended target, but it does slow the momentum enough that the skull has no problem drifting up over your swing.
And then the last flurry is a 27.
27 is going to hit.
And I just look at Gorneo and go, really?
I don't respond.
What was the damage on that last swing?
9.
All right. As it opens up its mouth, 5 bolts of energy, each of them a different color, like a number of the skulls about the room, launch into Grabender standing in front of them. And Grabender,
There it goes.
there.
That was only a minute long.
Grabender, as these blast into your chest, these magic missiles are going to do 16 points of force damage to you.
Magic missile?
Magic missile.
Crap.
As it continues. Rory, what would you like to do?
So it's 16 points of damage?
16 points of force damage. Yes.
Okay. Rory,
Oh.
to move me from here. Oh wait, how did I end up over there? That's weird. Two.
I think that one I dropped. I think I accidentally dropped one on the table. That's what
To here. And then she's going to thorn rip this guy.
All right.
Okay, so who are
And
you whispering to?
try and get here.
whispering to my wife because I don't
All
want to wake up my
right.
son.
So if you're standing there, you could pull it. Excuse me, but otherwise you'd be trying to pull it into Gorneo or Grabender's space. But go ahead and fire away.
I'll use cold pistol. Or wait, no. Sorry.
Thorn weapon.
Only thorn whip will do that. I forget. Thorn whip.
As a vine shoots out from by your feet, launching up towards this fiery skull, it looks to start wrapping around its form before its own flame intensifies and burns away your vines and thorns. As it continues laughing incessantly. Anything else you would like to do?
I'm gonna use. Can I use my bonus action to try again with a full tip whip?
I believe to get the bonus action attack, you have to use the initial action with the whip weapon.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to leave my turn at that. That's it.
All right, because also for future reference with Thorn Whip, it's not a 10-foot range like your Cold Tip Whip. You can cast it within 30 feet and be pulling people, or trying to pull people with it.
Oh yeah, I wanted us all to sort of triangulate
Okay.
and get it in the middle kind of thing. It just didn't
Okay.
work the way.
Roger that, just making sure. Simos.
Try to kill that guy with chill touch.
Trying to kill the one that's left across the room as Grabender and Gorneo close in on it, giving each other a nod of approval. The flames about its form wither, and the skull looks to hollow out ever so slightly before the flames reignite about its form, and it's looking rough. Anything else you want to do?
I moved in there. I look
No,
back
just-
to the group and say, I guess it's time to go.
That was just one chill touch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mushi.
I don't know why it wrote one.
And Simos, as you get right about there, you can see a number of these entities swimming down below. Their focus and attention is all immediately up to the ledge where you are now standing.
Uh-oh.
Seeing that I'm basically useless against these skull creatures, I don't have anything good that would start. Oh, I'm gonna turn back to the salamander people, and I'm gonna step forward, seeing that Simos decided to cut me off. Ruining my plans, Simos. And I am going to speak in. I can't remember. I think it was Infernal.
Ignan.
Ignan. I'm speaking in Ignan towards them.
What are you
I'm
saying?
going to
towards
say, good to see you again, friend. I'll see if they respond. These ones recognize me like their friends upstairs did.
Cognar.
For the record, Mushi just aggroed more people. No,
Simo started it.
Cognar is going to go ahead and throw his hammer at the skull. As he's doing that, he's going to yell to the captives, "You all need to get up the ladder and move through this room right now." And that's a 20 to hit
20's going to hit.
for 16 points of damage.
16 points of damage. The skull explodes all around that area over to the side. And before we get your bonus
Second attack.
or second action, we're going to
Oh, great.
Add some friends to the fight.
They probably didn't even know we were up here. Damn it.
Mushi.
Yep, blame her. It's her fault.
Demos went first.
You talked to
What are you
them.
talking about? You're the one who's talking to him.
Now look at
Totally your
Demos.
fault they looked our way. It wasn't me.
Whatever. Take this. We're all gonna die. Sorry.
So Cognar's waiting for the inevitable more skulls to show up once more people come up the ladder. So.
Alright.
This bridge thing is 30 feet until the lava, so they're 30 feet down, right?
They're 30 feet down in that pool. Cognar, with that, you shout for the prisoners. And Teresial, seeing this opportunity, leads like a train, as many as she can.
Yep. And Cognar is just going
30.
to essentially stand in the middle of the room, waiting for any kind of nonsense to happen.
Alright.
Pretty sure if there's nonsense, Mushi started it.
Pretty sure.
For Bender.
There's some here.
I'm going to tell them, the prisoners, go that way down the ladder and try to hide.
And you see them kind of following where you're pointing and giving you a nod. Like they get it.
And then,
And you will see Neo looks pretty rough.
I'm going to step closer to Corneo.
So does Rory, it looks like.
Ah,
Ah,
and are you below half? And is Rory below half?
I am 11 below half.
19 below half.
I would save it.
So that's 30. Yeah, it's wasting 15 points. Okay, I'm going to give Corneo a healing touch. Cure wounds or whatever it is. That thing.
Much better.
Better than nothing. Thank you.
And before they leave, I'm just going to tell the prisoners, if anything comes after you, run. Don't try to fight.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah, that's my turn.
All right. So right before we get to Gorneo, Mushi, two of them are going to be lobbing spears up towards you. The other two are lobbing their spears up towards Simos.
I guess they don't
This-
recognize me.
Because of the distance, they are at disadvantage with this attack. So that is going to be a 13 to hit Mushi with the first spear,
Nope.
followed by a 20 total to hit Mushi.
20 is gonna hit.
And Simos, a total of a natural 1 to hit you, followed by a total of 15 to hit.
It misses.
Misses. So Mushi,
Does his spear hit his friend?
he does not have any friends within the immediate vicinity of Simos, so no.
Darn.
Lucky for them.
Does the lady with the shield look like she's a combatant, like a melee combatant?
She looks a lot like a number of those water cultists you fought before. She doesn't have any of her shield or weapons about her. So, Mushi, that is going to be 13 points of piercing damage from the spear and 6 points of fire, half to 3 because of your resistance.
Well, okay. I'm gonna run.
And with that, Gorneo is up.
Is the clicking still going?
Yes, the choo 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 is still going. As it has been about 30 seconds since you first pulled it.
Noticing the water cultist chick, Gorneo's actually going to really quick get her, just kind of grab her as she walks past him, and he's going to say, "Where did the water cultists move when they left? There's no one left down in the city. Where did they go?"
All right, as you are grabbing hold of her, her gaze doesn't leave the people in front of her. She responds, "They went to the plunging torrents. I can draw you a map of what I can remember, but," and she tries to, like, loosen your grip on her shoulder.
Yeah,
You're trying to, like, okay.
Yeah, he'll let go.
As she just keeps pressing forward. Kind of like ducking in cover, more or less. Rory!
Oh, can I use the rest of my turn?
Go ahead. Yes.
Behind Mushi.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I'm going to position myself near this switch, so that if it... No. Actually, I'm going to go behind Mushi. Okay.
All right.
That's the end of my turn.
All right. Rory.
Oh, that's a lot of guys.
Rory's just going to prepare her attack for whatever enemies come around out from that corner.
All right. Simos.
I'm just gonna whisper over to Mushi and say, "Make them bow to you." And I will do my bonus action flame thing out in front to make it look like she's shooting flames, and I'll hold my action till she starts talking, and I'll shoot a firebolt as well.
All right.
Just out in the open, not hitting anybody.
All right. So effectively holding your turn to help Mushi with fire, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know how Mushi is with fire. She
So
just can't
two
do it.
more spears are being thrown up, one towards Simos, one towards Mushi. Simos, this is going to be a 23 to hit. Mushi, a natural 20 to hit.
Mm-hmm. That hits me.
That's gonna hit.
So Simos is going to be 12 points of piercing damage for Simos. And
42 piercing damage from Mushi.
15
Oh.
points of piercing damage to Mushi, 7 points of fire, half to 3, for a total of 18 points of damage to Mushi.
I'm looking great. That should be very intimidating at this point. Okay.
And one by one, you can see a number of these smaller entities dipping their heads below the surface of the magma.
What are we doing down here again?
Mushi picked a fight.
I know that.
Hey, there's stuff happening, okay? I'm going to look to them, and I'm going to say, have you forgotten the deal we've made?
I think
Under me, you could be God. You're letting these false prophets control you as dogs. Don't let them deceive you.
All right.
And as I'm talking, I'm going to be like, I'm going to be walking.
You'll never go hungry again.
I love how Miyushi thinks that she's like kind of like racist because she thinks that all fire lizard people are her, the one that she talked to up on the surface.
Mushi, roll me a persuasion or performance check with advantage as Simo sends a series of flames dancing about you as you shout your words down upon them.
Hey! That's a 20.
Fuck yeah!
Yushi, you can see the two others with their spears readied up loosen their grip, and they drop it to their side ever so slightly. Their eyes just kind of following you with a glare. And effectively, for right now, is there anything else you would like to do?
As I walk by Simos, can I try something? Like,
What would you like?
I want
Murder
to
him?
use my necklace and put it on him to protect him against elementals.
All right.
Don't you have to tune to that?
It's a touch spell, though. So if I touch him with my necklace, like as I'm like...
Are you trying to, like, basically, like, high-five him with your necklace? Like,
No,
to his person,
like-
or are you trying to, like, drape this necklace over his neck?
Well, I was thinking more like this is a very small space, and as I squeeze by him, as if my necklace touches him, I would like to cast that on him. And I'm sure it's going to be a very
Gerbender was watching that. She just seductively brushed up against Simos.
boob swiped him.
Yushi, we'll say roll me a sleight of hand contested against Simos' passive perception to see if he notices.
17. Oh my god.
Simos, what's your passive perception?
15.
33.
33.
Yeah, Yushi, you can slip by his form, touching the necklace to him, presumably using your action to activate it, you said?
Yeah. And I don't have
Okay.
it in my spells for some reason, because apparently I've never used it before.
Nope.
Weird, right?
Gee, imagine that.
Gosh, kids these days.
But here, I can send you a link to the,
It's not like we used, all of our treasure at that point.
it's a beautiful necklace, okay?
500.
I know Govinda has a spell.
Yeah, I didn't realize at that time that Mushi was, truly a cat and could not overcome her curiosity.
You should have asked.
So, Simos, as this spell is effectively cast over you, without your knowledge of it happening as it gets loosed, Simos' form visibly shifts as a portion of it looks to be blasted back opposite from the direction that Mushi is pressing this necklace upon his form. And as this deep red crimson energy leaves Simos' form, like a ghost in Ghostbusters passing through somebody, a second form is seen visibly standing beside Simos. I say standing, hovering beside Simos
Fuck.
over this lake of lava.
So that's just like
It's
Okay.
actually
from
people
That was
here.
his
Yo.
possession.
Simos, presently you are no longer possessed.
Simos, Mushi, whenever you go past them and you see this happen, you just see Simos starts crying.
Oh.
I have to look tough in front of these elementals, so I'm gonna be like really hot to dry your tears.
All right. So another one dips its head below the fire. Cognar.
I think I see
I
a
just
little
aggroed
bit
a
of
new
this
monster,
thing
guys.
happening, right?
Alright.
Cognar, you just saw Mushi squeeze past Simos and like a red shadow just wash out from him.
Oh, God. Alright, Cognar's gonna start running. Gets to there. I see the shadow and I see Simos crying. And I say, "What'd you do to
He's
my
like,
friend?" And I'm gonna throw my hammer at it.
All right.
25.
A 25 is going to hit. Roll that damage.
Something tells me Simos is crying because he liked being possessed.
And a 19.
19 is going to hit as well.
He may be. Sorry, Simos. Trying to help you against elementals,
Right, they're just trying to help.
Just trying to help.
34 points of damage.
That's total.
Yep.
Cognar, as the hammer makes impact upon this red shadowy form made physical, the bludgeoning of your hammer doesn't seem to be as effective as you would have hoped as it makes impact, and it seems to just kind of float around, slowing in its toss before returning to your palm. Still doing some damage as it recoils from the impact, but not as much as you would have hoped.
All right, so I'm going to get close enough to get my shield up to it, and I'm going to shove it if I can.
All right. It is hovering right now.
How far is it hovering?
Well, it looks to be about 30 feet above the lake of lava below it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it away
But
from Simos.
right next to us. Okay. So effectively going into Simos' space to try and shove it back further?
Yeah, and then I'll keep running onto the platform.
All right. That is going to be a 22.
Yeah.
On it.
He passes.
You slam into its form, and it starts to almost swallow up your shield before you're forced to pull it back without gaining any ground on this thing.
All right. And then I should have enough movement to get to there. Okay. That is
Right.
Gardner's turn.
Bender.
Grabender was busy, like, trying to give directions to
Sorry,
these.
Yes, round 20. They are indeed following your directions. Effectively, they move on initiative count 20.
Sure. So, Bender didn't see all this craziness happen about, like, this possession thing. But I do get to there and see this weird thing. Looks like it's attacking Simos. And so I am going to Sacred Flame it.
All right.
Ugh.
Rubender focuses the tip of his blade atop his shield and uses it as a focus for his holy energy, channeling this beam of light like a sniper rifle over Gorneo next to Simos, and it blasts into the side of this thing's form, dealing 6 points of radiant damage to it. Anything else you would like to do?
I think that's pretty much it for me.
All right. Another one gets below the surface. And Mushi, the two what you know to be salamanders on the northern end of the room, their spears lower in their grasp. These are the two whom you seem to have an effect upon. Corneo.
I'm going to assist with the demon-looking entity. And here, am I within 5 feet? I am. I will.
Oh, wait, it looks like a
pull out my
demon?
sword.
It must be related to Mushi.
Want to stab
Yes,
it?
made it.
23.
Corneo, your blade launches forward, piercing through the exterior of this thing's form. As you do so, the blade looks to do a 13 points of slashing damage, but the frigid chill seems to grow noticeably about its form as it takes 4 points of cold damage.
Oh, I swing again.
Before you get that second swing in, however, you feel a wave of fire launch out from its wound as you take 2 points of fire damage. After one. And your second swing does not make impact. A little caught off guard by the flare. Anything else you would like to do?
Yeah, get out of the way. Yeah, how much movement do I still have? I still have like 40 feet of movement. Yeah, I'm gonna bonus action disengage. And
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and proceed a little bit further across this bridge to help Mishi. Do I see anything in the middle of this here?
Roll me a perception check.
29.
29. What looks to be by your feet, inside the column of this solid rock, looks to be a smaller rock with the symbol of the fire cult carved upon it. Under the rock looks to be a small brass box, faintly hidden to the not-so-keen observer.
Corneo will point it out to Mushi and say, look, and that's the end of my turn.
All right. The demonic energy right beside Simos surges outward from its form. Simos and Cognar both take 6 points of fire damage. Cognar, you're raging, right? I think that was a yes, I heard.
No.
No? Okay, then 6 points of fire damage to Cognar as well.
Got it.
As its form surges outward. And then it lunges itself forward towards Cognar. Cognar,
Yes.
can I get an opposed athletics or acrobatics check from you, sir?
Oh no, don't fall in the
A
lava.
22 to beat.
Oh
Jeez,
jeez.
that means I have to roll a 15 or higher. Nope.
Oh no.
Seamless watches as this entity that left his form shoves Cognar off of this platform, and Cognar descends 30 feet off the ledge. And with a sploosh, Cognar hits the magma below.
Oh no, God.
Yushi,
Here.
this is all your fault.
Okay, I can save him. I have new friends.
Cognar, that is going to be 58 points of fire damage to you, sir,
Okay.
as you splash into the surface of the magma. And another 2 dip their head below the surface.
Since you got attacked, can you rage?
Mm-mm. Not on my turn. I have to wait till my turn.
With that, Rory.
All right. So Rory's going to scooch up here and peek. And she's going to peek around the edge and find an arrow at that guy, and then after the arrow is fired, sort of duck back behind the wall.
All right. Go ahead and launch it.
Okay. Pew, pew, pew.
A 22 is going to make contact, dealing 30 points of piercing damage to it. As it reels out, a flame wafts out from the direction where your arrow made contact with it, but you were too far away to feel the intensity of those flames. Anything else you would like to do?
Use my bonus action to kind of hide behind the wall.
Simos. Roll me a stealth
Yes,
check. Rory?
Guess it's not wearing armor, right?
It does not look to be wearing armor. Its exterior looks to be composed of some sort of...
I tried.
Simos gets to kill his inner demon. How exciting.
Simos, you reach forward and press your palm upon it. And as you do so, you feel a burning sensation searing up your arm as you take 4 points of fire damage. And you're forced to pull your hand back to avoid any sort of permanent damage to your limb. Anything else you would like to do, sir?
I just square up.
All right. You square up. Cognar, the larger form just to your side, reaches down and scoops your dwarven self up into its arms and lifts you just above the surface of the lava. That's what it's doing with one hand, one of its hands. Its other is holding the tip of its spear right across your gut.
Oh.
Okay.
And Mushi, you are up. The people start climbing down the ladder.
I'm going to look to the one that's holding Cognar. And I'm going to say, Nignon, If we have a deal, my comrade, back up to the platform, and let us be on our way.
If
Well, I
we
hope
have
so.
deal, you can come down here and talk.
How do I get down there? I see stairs looking around.
Take a leap of faith.
For you, buddy. I'm gonna. Oh, jeez. Target, don't say I never did anything for you, okay? I'm gonna jump.
What do you don't know?
You gonna jump into the lava?
You guys see Mushi starting to lean over the side of this balcony, effectively, towards the pool of magma 30 feet below.
I'm jumping.
Mushi, with a whoop, the magma
TPK, all right.
flashes up all around you, and you feel 38 points of fire damage, halved because of your tiefling resistance, down to 19 points of fire damage to you.
Damn! That puts me at exactly 0.
As Mushi's corpse slaps into the magma and is slowly starting to sink.
Well,
Oh,
we
you
gotta pick me up too.
After the jump.
Should have put my cloak on first, but you know,
Cognar,
Yeah.
I killed myself.
you are currently grappled by this creature that just watched Mushi leap down, fall into the magma, and just...
That's a stupid human.
Did she die?
They fooled me.
She looks to be effectively bleeding out, lying in a pool of magma. Anything you would like to do, sir?
Meanwhile, the bad guys go, that was easy.
Yeah.
Why didn't we try that before?
I'm going
I take a leap
to
of faith, guys. Okay.
bonus action healing word Mushi.
All right.
So you get 3 hit points.
Oh, thank you.
And,
Means he can't rage.
well, yeah, I'm not worried about that. And then I will yell at these things and say, "You save her. Don't worry about me."
What language are you saying that?
In one that they don't understand, Dwarvish.
One that goes.
All right. Cognar, as you're shouting these commands to the guy that's gripping you tight, he seems to be ignoring you completely.
I hit him with the hammer.
All right, roll an attack.
That'll teach him.
19.
19 is going to hit.
Just for good measure, I'll do it again.
All right.
23.
23 is going to hit as well.
How dare you ignore me?
20 points of damage.
20 points of damage total.
Yep.
As your hammer bashes into the guy, his grip on you loosens as you take a second swing, even harder with the hit. And Cognar, you are loosed from his grasp and effectively falling towards the magma.
Can I use my can I air swim to try to get to underneath Mushi?
Not presently. There's effectively an enemy between the two of you.
Fair enough.
I thought it should have been close to
The drop isn't that far. You were just above the magma, and then Cognar, as you dip down into the magma once again, you feel the burning sensation of 52 points of fire damage wash over you.
Alrighty. I'm at 0.
Cognar goes down. Gerbender.
Okay.
That's where I would have wanted to go.
Fuck.
Well, so I saw Mushi jump. I saw Cognar get
You saw Cognar get shoved off the side. You saw Mushu just kind of step off the side.
So I'm gonna like
Very
run.
similar to the way Mushu tried to jump off the elevator platform on the previous floor. She just kind of stepped off the edge.
I want to get as close
Fall of
to
fame.
the edge as I can
All right.
without like risking just
Right.
tumbling into it.
It is 30 feet down
Don't
below.
pull a Mushi or Cogna. Cogna, that's
Well, this is a situation I was not prepared for.
Yeah.
There's still hope.
Okay,
You know?
this is going to be a stretch, but I've got to ask.
Fire away.
Can I use that to control the lava?
I'm going to say no on that guy.
Okay.
But if it changes anything that you might have had on your agenda to do, roughly about the time that you're stepping up beside Simos, shield in one hand, sword in the other, even though you guys have been down here for some length of time, you can feel the pommel of your blade heat up and a number of the gems across its blade glowing more vibrantly.
It is the dawn.
Can you link me my sword again?
Yes, sir. One second.
I have no creative ways of getting you guys out of lava.
If it just doesn't do more than 3 hit points, I'll be okay. I got a plan.
Yes, sir.
It did 50 some odd hit points to Cogna.
Yeah, you'll be.
I could do a move first. Maybe this guy will lift me out. It's a leap of faith, guys. Gotta believe.
It was a leap of something, all right.
Gotta believe with me, guys. Come on. You guys can be my minions.
Okay, so it just started glowing, huh?
And heating up.
Oh, great. That's great.
What would you like to do, sir?
If you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Oh, so this chamber, how big is it? Okay, no.
About 80 feet across.
All right. I can.
From the south, the magma rushes in just beneath a lip of the cave wall itself and continues to wash off towards the north, where it similarly dips beneath a lowered wall of cave.
Well, that one's out because it's a touch spell. Yeah, I've got, yeah, nothing.
There's still a demon behind Simos.
I understand that, but I'm a little more worried about trying to save my 2 friends.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't tell you it was a leap of faith. I just jumped.
Okay, the only thing I've got is I will mass cure wounds. So, 3d8 plus whiz to everybody in the party.
All right.
Cool.
Jeez,
Oh,
that's
I'm not unhappy about that.
So 29 hit points.
We got this. We got
I
this.
get 8 hit points back.
That was a good one.
So
Leap of faith, guys. It's really gonna pay out.
She has to keep, keep convincing us of that.
I'm trying to convince myself. Oh, jeez.
And as a bonus action, because, fuck it.
Bucket action.
Spiritual weapon right behind the demon thing.
All right. Characters. Conjuration. Blade. Right behind it.
Yes, that's a good spot. No. Put it over there.
Anything else you would like to do, sir? Oh, sorry. 22 is going to hit. Raking across its form for 4 points of force damage. Doesn't seem too happy about that. Yes.
Oh, wait, how much healing were we all supposed to take?
29.
Oh, hell yeah.
So this guy goes underneath the bridge and scoops up Mushi's corpse that was just reanimated up from just barely above the surface of the magma. And he uses both of his hands to do it. Yes. Tornado.
I guess I'll come back for the box. I'm going to rush back over to help Semos. Do I get advantage with the spear?
It grants advantage, yes, sir.
Cool.
That's probably the most helpful index card I've ever used in my life. I've referred to it so many times. Tornado, as your blade plunges forward, it hits deep into its chest, dealing 8 points of piercing damage, followed by 2 points of cold. And Tornado, as your blade plunges deep into its form, the vibrant fire about it lashes out at you for 2 points of fire damage, as the creature itself is extinguished.
You did it! You killed Simo's demon!
Well, are you better? Good. I'm gonna rush back over here with the rest of my movement, and then can I use my bonus and the rest of my thing to grab the box?
Sure.
I will grab the box that I saw.
All right. Flip open the lid, you can see that. Rory, what would you like to do?
So I was kind of like Rory was kind of peeking around the corner as she hid, so she kind of I feel like she saw everything. Yes.
Yeah.
She saw me jump and everything.
Quite a commotion.
Just a bit. Can she tell how far down Muji fell from where she's
30
standing?
feet from this walkway.
30 feet. Okay.
30 feet down.
So Rory's going to come in slowly. No. She can only go about this far without standing on top of someone or whatever. So she's going to stand here. And she's going to hold on. She's going to be ready to try and thorn whip Mushi back if she needs to. If something goes wrong. But yeah, that's her.
All right. Simos.
Still bawling and crying. I just put my hand on Garbinder's shoulder and tell him,
Are they sad tears or happy tears?
you're in molten lava there. Bawling like that, too.
I'm melting. Give me my language.
It's hard to hear
My
what the
hands on
magma
Garbinder.
is.
Shoulder and say, go get him, Garbinder. I cast fly on him.
Alrighty. That should help.
Maybe. That's 60 feet. Not for you. As Samos places his palm upon Grabender's shoulder, Grabender, the immense weight that you've slightly gotten used to walking around with his stone scales is noticeably lightened as you drift David Blaine style, just hovering millimeters off the ground.
That's potential.
Right. So the salamanders continue to just kind of swarm around Mushi. And each one of them doing their best to assist in holding her up above the surface of the magma, but continuing to ignore Cognar. Mushi,
Even
Would
though
you
I
like
hit
to
it in
do?
the face with a hammer?
Looking at them, I'd say once again, please, my friend, and we can talk. Help him up to the platform. And I am willing. I'm in your hands.
maybe we talk and then your friend.
He won't survive that long.
You've been punished for centuries. We now hold the upper hand. You will make terms on this deal now.
What are your terms?
Our freedom. Cognar. At the start of your turn,
Yep.
Oh, on my turn real quick, I would like to say in common, don't hurt the salamanders. We're talking.
as she's shouting that out, Cognar, you take 43 points of fire damage at the start of your turn.
Alrighty.
Sorry, Cognar, I'm trying.
I'm unconscious.
Grabender.
And in lava, by the way.
I am going to fly down and try to grab Cognar.
All right, Grabender, can I get an athletics check from you, sir?
Absolutely. Okay, come on, athletics check. Whew.
Swooping down, you can just start to pull Cognar up from the surface of the magma, effectively using 30 feet of your movement to get down to him, and you're able to pull him 15 feet up if you choose, but not quite back up to the platform yet.
That's fine.
All right. As the two other salamanders continue to swim about the surface of this magma, ever so slightly, moving around Grabender as he scoops Cognar up. You'll make terms with our deal now, or you will not leave this breeding pool. And as he says these words, roughly a dozen or so small tails start to slither up from above the surface of the magma, flopping about wildly. Everybody else sees suddenly the magma is stirring, like watching a swarm of piranhas moving about.
I don't get splashed with lava, do I?
Cognar, luckily you were able to be pulled 15 feet up, and now avoiding a lot of these magma splashes. Gorneo.
I mean, I'm kind of interested because I can understand what they're saying. But
I told you not to hurt them. Focus on your box.
I mean, I looked in my box. I'm gonna scout ahead. I'm gonna trust Mishi. So I'm going to make my way across the rest of this platform. Okay, I do see somebody down there.
So Gorneo, the chamber that you can now see, you can see a number of basalt pillars that rise from the glassy floor of the circular cave above to support a smooth domed ceiling. Niches carved into the columns look to hold dancing flames that brightly illuminate a number of copper tapestries hanging along the walls.
Okay, and I caught a glance of a cultist, so
you can see a couple of cultists kneel down in front of what looks to be an altar facing the opposite direction.
All right, so I'm going to take a step back so they can't see me, but that leaves me. I can see that thing. What's that? Anyway,
No idea.
that's another Gorneo reaction. I will hold an action to attack if something comes near me, but I'm just going to wait.
All right. Rory, we are back to you.
Rory, because she's not really sure exactly what's happening, but she sees that there's some sort of truce, is going to basically just keep a weather eye open on this end of the hall, both anything coming from the opposite direction and for whatever's happening in the room, ready to attack if needed.
All right. Simos.
Seeing that he has Gobinder, and it seems like they're actually talking and holding Mushi up and not letting her fall in lava. I'm gonna move up.
Not drowning me in lava.
And I'll try to open up the box.
Oh, I believe Gorneo scooped up the box.
Oh, you have the box, Gorneo?
Right, Gorneo?
I do.
Okay. So that one, sorry, that's not there.
All right. I think that was like 7 feet or so.
Oh, that thing
Something.
looks scary. This is not going to be fun.
Get to here. It seems like Gorneo is like trying to hide from something or standing around a corner, right?
You saw him
Yeah.
confidently glide his way forward with his light footsteps, get to the corner, and take a half step back around the corner.
Yeah, and I've got like my eyes fixed down the hallway.
Okay. With this pillar, can I not see any more of the salamanders now?
It does look to be blocking your vision, yeah, because they're 30 feet down. And on the other side of it.
Then I'll just dash.
If you try to pass Gorneo, like he'll try to stop you.
No, I'm just getting right here because it looks like you're hiding for something. So I'm trying to hide too.
But you just got finished being possessed, so he will prepare himself to
So
stop
Gorneo
you and try to go past him.
off the side of the ledge into the magma is what you're saying.
They seem a little bit more like Simo since like my tears are starting to dry up, but I just cried.
That's okay. He's still gonna just in case. It's nothing against you.
Not the first time we've been trying to be killed by someone who's possessed.
Mushi, the 4 salamanders all around you continue to swirl and circle around you ever so slowly. What would you like to do?
I would like to speak to them. I will say, your freedom is something I would be glad to give you. If you help us clear this lava mansion, I don't know what it's called, this lava cave of the evildoers and wrongdoers, I would be happy to let you roam free among it, as I'm sure you once flourished before. I ask you only leave innocence out of it. Reasonable.
Mushi, the titan grip that was about your form starts to move ever so slightly. Roll me a persuasion check.
Jeez. All right, guys. Oh, fuck.
It tightens ever so slightly as the one who is holding on to you speaks. Once again, Enigna. You wish us to risk our lives for you, when we already hold your life in our hands. We offer you your life in exchange for our own. You will leave this pool, and you will leave us in peace. We want no part of any fight that you bring here.
That is more than fair. It was only a suggestion, for if we fail, I can't guarantee your freedom. But if we're able to slay them, as we hope to do, your freedom is guaranteed. That is my promise to you. Help if you wish. If you wish to stay out, that is your choice.
Cognar, what would you like to do?
That's just cruel, man. He's subconscious.
I don't have a red dot on him. He is being pulled up. Cognar, can I get a
I
death
thought he
save?
still had some health. No.
Bender, what would you like? Lucas, can I get a death save?
I
Cognar?
failed. I got an 8.
First failure. Grubender, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna bring Cognar all the way up, and once I get him up and set him on the platform, I'm going to channel divinity and give him 45 hit points.
All right. Effectively using 30 feet of your fly speed, you can pull him up to the top of this walkway, setting him down and loosing a wave of holy healing energy.
That's the idea.
Nice. Anything else you would like to do? You still have 30 feet of movement and a action, bonus action.
No, that was the action to use my channel divinity.
Bonus action movement if you would like to use that. Because you still have the spiritual weapon.
I do. I'm just going to call to Mushi and say, "Are you all right?"
Give the thumbs up.
For now. Well,
Might be
Nick is
muted
thinking
for
the
now.
two salamanders effectively on initiative 12 and 19 did rearm themselves with their spears. Nick, are you muted?
He's probably making a draft pick.
I was muted. Yeah. So if they're still talking, then Gornale will, because he's still holding the box, hand it to Semos and say, "I think I recognize the red ones, but I'm not sure about the other." And I'm going to use my action to I'll just use my action, or my bonus action to stealth, and then I will hold my action to attack anything that comes near us.
All right. Rory. For the sake of brevity, until Mushi finishes whatever negotiations are going on, is there anything that the rest of the party would like to be doing? Corneo's preparing himself. Should the salamanders turn or the individuals in the next room take notice of what's going on behind them? Cognar was just healed up to 45 hit points by Grubender, swooping down, saving his life, and planting him safely upon the walkway. Rory has been holding her arrow at the ready, just in case the salamanders take a turn on Mushi.
I'm gonna hover where one swift movement could get me down to Mushi and try to pull her away.
We'll say you're about like halfway down.
Yeah.
Okay.
These
like
potions
that.
or whatever that he just handed me in this box, I'm going to try to figure out what they are. Then after that, I'm going to try to hide and prepare myself to attack if anything comes around the corner.
All right, starting off with which one?
I guess the foggy.
All right. Roll me an Arcana. Roll me 2 Arcana checks. Seamless. The first for the fog one, second for the red liquid. All right. That is that. So, Mushi, let's hear it.
Yes. I just gave them an option, but they didn't reply. I just said, I have no problem with them not joining our fight. It is our fight. However, if they were to help us, our likelihood of succeeding would be greater, and therefore the likelihood of their freedom would be guaranteed. Whereas if we lose, they could lose their freedom. That was my only suggestion.
So they
if they don't want to join, it's okay.
And the one that's been gripping you, his grip loosens ever so slightly. And he says, "Not just our freedom. You will leave us in peace." And he starts lifting you upwards, and his gaze looks up towards Grubender. As his body extends up out from the magma, he reaches upwards about 10, 15 feet. As he does so,
as soon as he starts moving up, I'm going to go grab her.
All right. Bender reaches down and grabs hold of Mushi. Bender, can I get one athletics check, please?
Don't drop me.
With advantage, assuming Mushi's also trying to grip
I am
hold.
reaching for Gryffindor, yes, definitely. Had enough fun today.
Oh my gosh.
Hold me tighter, Gryffindor. Hold me tighter.
I'm sure a 5 was good enough.
Mushi, if you'd like to roll me an athletics or acrobatics check to try and grapple hold of the salamander that you are now plummeting towards.
Oh no!
Well, Mushi, good news is you don't hit the salamander.
Wait. Do I have an action?
You have a reaction.
Yes, I have an action. Well.
I mean, really, it's a 10 to just pick her up?
10 is considered an easy task, and you are swooping down, flying effectively.
It wasn't like a dramatic swoop. It's like handing him on a platter.
I'd imagine that it's also not the calmest thing, the exchange between the salamander and Grubender, but Grubender's a little more like, okay, this is my chance. Before Mushi says anything else that might make this turn sour, I better seize this opportunity.
That is true. That is what I was thinking.
You got me there. You got me there.
But Mushi, as your hand starts to dip into the side of the magma, suffering 25 points of fire damage, as your hand clips it, the arm of the salamander shoots out and grabs you by the leg.
Is 25 half?
25 half to 12 points of fire damage because your teeth have resistance.
I can do that.
As he pulls your leg up towards Grubender one more time.
And as he's raising me once again, I said, "We will leave you in peace." Catch me, Grubender, please. I'm upside down.
Here we go again.
Mushi, you can see Grubender noticeably struggling a bit. He just had no problem lifting Cogtar coated in magma up from the ground, but he's noticeably straining a lot more. As he goes to reach and pull you, just the force behind Simos' spell isn't quite there for it, and he's straining as his form starts to slowly sink while trying to push you up. Effectively kind of like a zero gravity situation. But this time the salamander has not let go of his grip.
Thank you, salamander.
Oh. He knows better.
He kind of sneers at you after the last time you descended down in his direction.
Oh, Bahamut does not want you to live.
Apparently not.
What he does, the 10 feet of him that are up above the surface of the water just start tipping towards the central column. As he does so, one arm upon the surface of this column and using his elbow as leverage, he starts climbing his way up the surface of this central column and just plants you prone upon the walkway before diving off the side of it.
So, I rolled a 4, a 3, a 3, a 2, a 1, and a 6.
All right.
Okay.
Yushi,
put your bow.
clearly you were meant to die there.
I have salamanders as friends as long as we just don't ever talk to them again.
Rory, as Mushi is being dropped off in the middle of the lava pool room, behind you, you hear an audible shunk as a small hole in the top of this domed roof seals itself shut.
She calls out, "The roof is closed."
Poison gas.
But, you know, not super loud.
I just want to sit here for a minute.
Now that everything's gotten just a little bit quieter,
Just want to sit.
I'm gonna really take stock of the fact that my sword has